1 minute remaining. "45 seconds remaining. "30 seconds remaining. "15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
The idea about eating a bowl of Skyline chili, pie eating contest style with like your hands behind your back, that is just going to be an awful look. And that's going to live on the internet for the rest of our lives.
Yeah, doesn't bother me at all. In fact, I'm kind of hoping I lose. And you know when a baby eats spaghetti and the spaghetti sauce gets all over it? I'm just picturing that.
Kids just like eat naked mostly for like the first several years of their life.
I have all these pictures of my two girls when they were young. It looks like they were just like bleeding from everywhere. It was just tomato sauce over their entire upper half.
It looks like a horror show.
They are Maggie and Perloff on CBS Sports Radio.
An investigation that's been called expansive into Michigan. Hey, welcome to the show. Maggie Gray, Andrew Perloff, the new morning show on CBS Sports Radio. We'll get to what we saw in New Orleans last night with the Jags escaping with a win over the Saints, Perloff. But this Michigan scandal is now front page news. Michigan has been in the headlines a little bit over the last year. Jim Harbaugh had to sit out the first 3 games of the season, a self-imposed suspension. Now we get a sign stealing scandal that could threaten to be pretty bad here for the Michigan program.
Well, you know how college football fans take every little thing and blow them into a tempest? I think this could be a cloud over the whole season. And I know it's the most minor infraction of all time. They're accused of having advanced scouts at the game, basically to figure out the other team's signs. Sign stealing is not illegal, but advanced scouting is.
Yeah, you can't send somebody to a future opponent's game on your behalf and try to figure out their signs. That's been illegal since 1994.
And you know why I read on Yahoo in the story, the reason it was illegal is that the colleges wanted to save money by not having advanced scouts. It had nothing to do with sign stealing. But here's why it's a bigger deal, because Michigan's very popular. I think arguably one of the top 2 or 3 most popular teams. They're now a heavy favorite to win the national title. Since Brock Bowers got hurt, Georgia dipped down in the odds well below them. So everything was working out perfectly. Their quarterback's on fire. Their running game's amazing. Jim Harbaugh is a great coach. This is a dream season for Michigan. When's the last time they won a title? I'm sorry, I should know this, but it's been a long time. This was the year they broke through. And now they have this over their head. Can you imagine what the signs at game day this weekend in Ohio State are going to be like?
Oh, my gosh. Well, it's going to be a chum in the water now. I think this is going to be a feeding frenzy on Michigan. But here's where I'm going to differ from you. I don't know if this is going to be a cloud that goes over the season because, first of all, the NCAA, who nobody likes, moves at a glacial pace. Like, we're not going to get any resolution on anything.
That's probably true.
Because teams are still getting punished for stuff that happened in, like, 2020. I mean, we're 3 years out from that. So they don't move very quickly. And now that Michigan's going to be under so much scrutiny, you know, any whiff here is going to be, like, they have to be so buttoned up. Now, it's interesting. They have identified who they think the staffer is who is responsible for basically scouting these future opponents in the violation of the law. His name, according to ESPN, is Connor Stallions.
Oh, wow.
Cool last name. A retired captain in the United States Marine Corps. He's a person of interest in the investigation into whether they were, his future scouting. I got to tell you, I know this is could be against the rules, But tell me that's not brilliant. You get a Marine Corps guy, like imagine he's probably done things that are way more dangerous than something like this. This had to be the easiest assignment he's ever had in his life.
Oh yeah, no, that's great. You couldn't make up a better name.
and blend in with blend in or I don't know, misrepresent yourself, which would be a little bit bigger, and then sign steal.
Amazing. Well, here's why I think this is more important than a normal scandal. Because if you read the Big Ten statement, they said we're of utmost consideration is competition. Like that's one thing. A recruiting violation, nobody on earth cares about that. If you mess with what we're seeing on the field, I think people get really upset.
And that's the gambling element.
The gambling element, also too, you want to, as a fan, you want to believe everything you're seeing is completely real. That's why I think the Astros scandal is one of the biggest sports scandals of my time. I mean, really, sign stealing has been around in baseball for
since the game was invented,
150 years. Yeah. But this Astros thing just has been a cloud over the sport of baseball. And I'm telling you, the Michigan Wolverines are 50 times more popular than the Houston Astros.
Yeah.
I think this is going to be huge. And especially if the other coaches try to make it a big deal, which they will, because that's what college football coaches do. They're the most petty human beings on the planet.
The college football coaches can't wait for Jim Harbaugh, to get knocked down a peg.
Especially him.
He's kind of confrontational dude, he's you don't get the sense that he's like Mr. Kumbaya with the coaches. He used to get into, remember with Jim Schwartz when he was at the NFL? He always does that.
But at least, this is 1 year. Of course, next year he'll all figure it out in Michigan. Isn't that how you see it, Maggie?
I thought Jim Harbaugh's been gone for the NFL 2 scandals ago.
And then now what do you think?
Definitely gone. And not only I think he's gone from the NFL, I think the quality of job that he was looking to take keeps going down and down and down. At this point, he'd be lucky to get the Bears job.
Oh, yeah, that's a great point. Well, now that Lincoln Riley is apparently honing in on that Bears job.
All right, but he probably won't beat out Lincoln Riley, to be honest. But
yeah, I think he's looking at the Carolinas, the sort of NFC South jobs.
Listen, he will pack his bags and probably be at the airport in Ann Arbor in an hour.
Atlanta, there are plenty of flights from Detroit to Atlanta. He could be there. Yeah, this means he has no chance of coming back. He's clearly had enough of this. I think he was waiting it out. It works out perfectly for him because Blake Corum came back. McCarthy, once J.J. McCarthy's gone, why is he going to want to stay anyway?
So here's the other question about the scandal.
Yeah.
And this is, again, why I think it's going to be, the Michigan's going to be a little more Teflon on this, and it's going to go away a little bit, is because what can you prove you got from this? Do you remember Spygate, right? Spygate with Bill Belichick, and he was videotaping, and Eric Mangini was his former assistant, called him out for it, and they got a first-round draft pick taken away and massive fines. And Robert Kraft came out after and asked Belichick, what kind of advantage, what's a percentage advantage you felt like you got from Spygate? And Belichick said 8%.
Okay.
And Robert Kraft goes, well, then you're a schmuck because you got us in trouble. And if it's true, it was only 8%, you put our franchise in jeopardy for not a big enough advantage. I'd love to know, what did Michigan, how much better did they get from this? What real advantage did they see from this? And is that tangible?
Right. I totally agree with you. It's a minor advantage, but think about Spygate. Spygate took over the entire NFL for a better part of 3 years. So it doesn't matter that it's a minor advantage. That does not affect the size of the scandal. It's funny. You have a really good point. Spygate really should not have been that big a deal. It was a quote unquote videotape procedure error.
Yeah.
They were just taping from an illegal spot. Should have been nothing. But do you remember that cloud over the NFL? So I think this is a very minor thing that Michigan was doing. Although I do love that guy's name. It's just a minor little thing that should be nothing. It's going to be something. Well, I don't think they're going to be Teflon on this. I think this is going to hang around this team all season long.
Well, think about it, too. What do these two coaches have in common? They might have made some enemies over the years.
Yeah.
Maybe Bill Belichick and Jim Harbaugh may have ticked a few people off. I don't know. Belichick running up the score all the years that he did. Jim Harbaugh just generally being Jim Harbaugh.
Yeah, I know. They both have this similar intensity. You might argue that, I mean, I'm not going to diagnose them, but their personality quirks are perfect to be intense head coaches. Maybe a little bit of, I'll say it, they're a little bit on the spectrum on the brilliant side. They're not you meet those guys, it's not like, this guy, I don't know if he's normal.
I know. The only thing is, with Belichick, they'll say, no, behind the scenes, he's got all this charisma. No one ever says that about Jim Harbaugh. It's no, behind the scenes, it's kind of what you see as well.
Well, Harbaugh came on Dan Patrick's show 3 or 4 times. Maybe it was only once in person. Very nice.
Oh, okay. So maybe he does have some charisma.
No, he was very. I mean, he's a recruiter,
Yes.
so he can turn on way more than Belichick ever has to. But I think that's a nature of the college football coaching. Saban's the same way. Urban Meyer, he is the quietest, most serious person I've ever been. He has no personality.
Yeah.
That whole group of coaches are also odd. But I do think that this is, people are looking for something to go against Michigan. You have so many Ohio State fans. You have so many Penn State fans. You have so many Georgia fans. They're looking for this. The tweets last night were unbelievable. Everyone calling them the Michigan Astros now.
That's pretty good. So this is something that caught your eye.
Yeah.
And this took off a little bit on social media last night. It's kind of interesting to play this now because in the moment, nobody picked up on this at all. But this was Greg Schiano, the head coach of Rutgers. They were at the Big House, 2 weeks ago for a game?
I have no idea because I do not watch Rutgers
Okay,
football.
well, I live in New Jersey, so I like to follow the home
get out of
team.
here. That game, those games are so boring. Anyways.
Greg Schiano, that game was actually kind of not that big of a blow. Anyway, Greg Schiano, here's the halftime interview he does with the Big Ten Network. Now, keep in mind, now we know that Michigan is being accused of sign stealing.
Coach, 4 penalties for your team in the first half, some that cost you. How do you clean that up in the second half?
Well, there's some stuff going on out there, so we just got to slow it down a little bit. There's some things going on that aren't right as well, so we'll talk about how to handle it.
This Michigan defense keeping Gavin Wimsatt in this passing game in check. How do you adjust?
Well, just got to keep playing. In the game, we just got to keep playing.
Yeah, I mean, kind of begging for the follow-up there from, and I don't know who the sideline reporter was. I'm sure she does a fantastic job, but he was kind of opening the door on something. As Dan Patrick always says, Perloff, your former boss and one of my, on the Mount Rushmore for me of broadcasters, you got to be listening when you're interviewing somebody.
Oh, that would have been tough, though, to go to the scandal. I mean, she had no idea.
No, she had no idea, but it's something's not right out there. Coach, what's not right out there?
Good point. By the way, we were talking about personalities of coaches. Enter Greg Schiano. If Rutgers was a little better, he'd be a great character in this drama. If we're going to do a play, I would love to see an angry Greg Schiano.
Oh, boy. Okay, so I think the poll question today is...
I think you could say, is it too far to say if Michigan wins a title this year, is there an asterisk because of sign stealing? That might be crazy. Asterisk... I don't know if it's an official asterisk, but I think in fans' minds, is this an asterisk title, much like the 2017 Astros? To me, that's an asterisk final.
Yeah.
Can we agree on that?
Sure, and Dodger fans would definitely agree with you on that.
So I think if Michigan wins the title this year, are people going to go so far to put an asterisk? And based on your reaction, I think you think this should not be, because it is kind of a minor infraction.
No, but I think on your reaction, I think you say yes.
Well, I have to think about that more, but I guarantee you other fans will do this because people hate Michigan and in Ohio State, there's a lot of sports hate towards Michigan.
Oh, definitely. And Michigan, historically is one of the winningest college football programs of all time. So I think the question is does this now put a cloud over the season? And if they win the title, should it have an asterisk?
Yeah, listen, USC, did they vacate their title? So the NCAA will go back 15 years later. They'll get to the bottom of this.
Yeah, I can't wait to find out.
Our grandkids will be talking about this, how they rule on this one.
Yeah, I can't wait to find out what actually happened in the year 2035.
Oh, God.
I'm going to be on pins and needles.
I can already tell in advance if we put that poll out who I'm going to hear from. Rich Eyes, a Michigan alum, is not going to like this poll question. He's going to be like, asterisk, that's ridiculous. That's the other thing, too. Maybe I'm too into this because 3 of my friends are Ohio State grads and 5 are Michigan grads.
No, it's
they just take this so personally.
It's one of the best rivalries we have in college football. But again, this is about other teams in the Big Ten, too. This isn't just about Ohio State. This is about who knows how many teams are implicated or feel like they've been wronged, rather, not implicated, feel like they're on the wrong side of this and that Jim Harbaugh was doing something nefarious. Now, he says he didn't know about it.
There's a great, just the tweets are amazing. There's one where Jim Harbaugh is stealing front yard signs from somebody and looking suspicious. That's the thing. You don't need a lot here, Maggie. All you need is a little ember to turn any kind of college football story into a gigantic, all-consuming fire.
All right. Is this going to be a cloud over Michigan season? 855-212-4CBS, 855-212-4227. Perloff says yes. I say no. Let us know what you think. I did have an NFL game last night.
Sort of.
Being a pretty good one at the end of the game. It was close, at least.
That had Thursday Night Football written all over it, that game. That game was sloppy.
Well, nonetheless, we do have one big takeaway from last night's game. We'll get to that in just a moment. It is Maggie and Perloff on this Friday. You made it. End of the week. We'll be back in just a moment.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. .45 seconds remaining. .30 seconds remaining. 15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Stream the NFL on Westwood One for free, sponsored by AutoZone. All season long, you can listen to every Westwood One broadcast of the NFL live on the NFL app by asking Alexa to open Westwood One Sports, or on the Odyssey app. Get in the zone. AutoZone, the free AutoZone Fix Finder service, can help you find a fix for free. Get in the zone. AutoZone, restrictions apply. Now, normally Maggie here on Maggie and Perloff, I look forward to Andrew Bogus' sports updates. A lot of news, a lot of humor. Dreading today. Just dreading Bogus' arrival. Dreading it.
Why? We love Bogus.
Because ever since we started in the morning, it's been nothing but Phillies wins. I do not want to hear what he's going to do to me after the Phillies lose 2-1 to the Diamondbacks.
Oh, they lost.
Yeah, our Phillies?
2-1. I mean, listen, I told you guys the bullpen was going to implode. Anybody who watches Kimbrel knows that you could get to that guy. Whatever. You're not going to get me there. Last night, huge football showdown. Actually, technically, there was a football game. It was a jag, as Maggie labeled it a jag, just a game last night.
Instead of just a guy like they do with like mid-round picks. It's just a game.
Do you still feel that way about Saints-Jags?
No, this is what I thought going away from that Saints-Jags game. I'd rather lose 24-9 than have to endure what the Saints fans did last night, which is the Jags take their foot off the gas. Oh. They allow the Saints to get back in the game. The Saints have a chance to tie it, or they would have had a decision to make if they'd scored the touchdown, whether to kick the field goal or go for two. Spoiler alert, they were definitely kicking the field goal.
Dennis Allen isn't gone for
sorry, the point after.
Dennis Allen going for 2 in that situation or 0.0, but yes.
It's so funny. Al Michaels brought it up. He's like, interesting decision they'll have to make. It's like, really, Al? Have you been watching Dennis Allen? Anyway, they get so close. I mean, literally a Derek Carr throw to Foster Moreau in the end zone. The tight end drops the ball. Like it's on his fingertips on the 3rd and goal. 4th and goal, there, play gets broken up and nothing happens. And you lose the game after the big comeback. I'd rather just get blown out, because giving the Saints fans that kind of hope and playing with their emotions in that way when this offense is so bad for some reason, we know the reason why, but so bad, like that to me was more torture, and that was a worse thing to do to your fans than just get blown out and just move on to the next game.
The worst.
Yeah, I feel the same way about the game. The Jags went up 14-3, and they said, oh, there's no way this offense on the opposing side is... I mean, the Saints offense, even though they did score 24 points, it's hard to describe how painful it is to watch.
It's brutal.
Derek Carr can't hit anybody. Kamara cannot run the ball at all. Nobody can run the ball. They had... obviously key offensive line injuries. There were backup tackles, so they have an excuse. But to me, I walked away from that game and I said, ooh, the Jaguars look really strong. It doesn't matter that it was a game. Never for 1 second did I think they were going to lose. And when they finally needed to start playing on offense again, how many plays did it take them to score? Two plays.
Like 2 plays.
And Trevor Lawrence was looking like Lamar Jackson out there with a knee brace. It was not nearly as close. I know the Saints came back and almost tied it. For some reason, I still feel like the Jags would have won that game anyway.
Yeah, if you are a real diehard Jags fan, this could be a little troubling because they've let some teams hang around. Like, their offense should be a lot better than it is. They let the Bills hang around, they let the Saints hang around in games where they really had their opponent on the ropes and probably should have buried him.
It kind of feels like a theme for all the really good teams this year. The Chiefs have let people hang around. The Eagles last week against the Jets let the Jets hang around. Yeah. For some reason, teams are getting a little conservative in that spot, and I kind of get it. This was it's interesting. There's been a lot of things about how scoring is down across the league.
Yep.
Did you notice, by the way, the officiating was, I would say, pro-offense last night?
There were not the holding calls.
No.
These two offenses were just terrible on 3rd down just because they were bad, and not because the officials were impacting it in any way.
Yeah, I think the Jaguars were just conservative. I thought Trevor Lawrence, we had a debate yesterday, and you said that Trevor Lawrence is already in the elite category of NFL quarterbacks, and I said he's not there yet. I got to be honest. I was watching last night. I'm like, ooh, I think Maggie might be right. I have to
turned
tell No, you didn't turn me. Trevor Lawrence turned me because when he was engaged early in the game, I'm like, oh my God, he's just picking the Saints apart. But then they got really conservative, started running the ball, and they weren't effective. ETN's great. So I'm not going to judge too much. It was a short week, injuries. I think the Jags are in great shape because they're 5-2, most wins in the AFC. They did win on the road. Saints are a mess, but the Jags, that's your Super Bowl pick. You got to be feeling pretty good.
Well, the reason why they were my Super Bowl pick is not because I think they're necessarily the most talented team in the AFC, but I thought they were going to have the most wins because of their schedule in the conference. They're going to get the number 1 seed, I thought, in the AFC, and I still think that's alive. And getting that first round bye has shown to be so incredible for these teams.
Yeah, but has it been incredible for the AFC South?
Well, yeah, I mean, the Titans lost to the Bengals
yeah,
famously.
The Colts had a lot of first-round buys and went out in the first round of a lot of playoffs.
But you'd rather have it than having to play.
I just think the AFC South has a
round.
history of sort of jazzing up records of its winner, and then they fall apart. No, they're really good. But then again, last night they were throwing to this guy Agnew the whole time, 35, and I didn't understand it. I know Zay Jones was out.
Yeah.
It does feel like they're missing a weapon. Calvin Ridley's not consistently great. Feels like they could be more explosive. I think they might get there, but right now their offense feels a bit stuck in the mud.
Yeah, I mean, maybe credit the Saints defense for that. The Saints secondary is good. Their Saints front is also very good.
Very good.
But yeah, you finally saw Christian Kirk turn on the Jets on that late touchdown. I was like, is that Tyreek Hill out there? That guy's. Where'd he find that speed?
Yeah, it's funny. He said he hasn't run that fast since college. I think that this offense has room to grow, and I think it will grow because Trevor does look amazing. You were probably spot on yesterday.
I appreciate that. 855-212-4CBS. We talked about the Michigan scandal. Now they're embroiled in a scandal. It's a sign-stealing scandal, but not in the sense that you would think about, like a runner on second trying to read the catcher's signs they're putting down. No, this is about sending someone on your staff to scout a future opponent. In college football, that has been illegal since the mid-90s. So Michigan is being investigated. Gary is in New Jersey, wants to talk about it. Good morning, Gary.
Good morning, guys. It's nice to see you on my drive in. Usually I speak to you on my drive home.
Gary,
you're wonderful.
So a little background on Gary. Gary, who I've known for a long time and is an awesome person, also is a brewmaster. Makes his own beer. I know that just made everyone in the studio perk up a little bit, Gary. And it's delicious, Pelican Brewing. And you got to check Gary out on social media. How you been, Gary?
I've been good. I've been very good. And you guys, your body clock adjusted to being up this early?
Turns out we're morning people.
Very good. That's what I like.
No one's more surprised than us.
So,
what do you got on Michigan?
So I've been a big Michigan fan since like 1982, so I go back a long way. When it comes to this scandal, I get it. It's terrible that you have to try to get this advantage over it. The 7 opponents that they played, they should have beaten without any type of advantage. I mean, they are not even in the meat of their schedule yet. Do I think it's going to be a cloud over their head like Perloff does? No, I don't. I think, it's going to go forward. And like you said, it takes the NCAA years, to get into anything. So I think we're all going to just, a few months it'll be passed by and nobody will even remember it.
Gary, I'm with you.
Wait,
maybe
Gary.
not that no one's going to remember it, but
Wait,
I don't
Gary.
think it's going to be a
This is
cloud.
Big Ten football. Everybody remembers everything. Those fans, they're rabid.
Yeah, I know. Yes, we are. We're rabid. We hate Ohio State. We hate Penn State. We hate all that. They hate us. They'll remember it, but I mean, I don't know. It's just going forward, like I said, once they get into the meat of their schedule, that would be where I would say, they took the advantage of the sign stealing. But now that they've been caught and they can't do it, we'll see whether or not they are the true number 2 or possible champion.
Gary, great to talk with you. Hope everybody's well. Say hi to everybody. Gary's a great guy. So here's the question, though. If they're doing all this in advance, have they already scouted Michigan State, Purdue, Penn State, Maryland, Ohio State? Those are the games remaining on the schedule. And apparently they were also looking at, allegedly, potential college football playoff opponents as well.
Oh, I didn't know that detail. That's wonderful. Here's the thing. They basically had a half season. They've had preseason up to this point because their schedule has been so terrible. The story said they took advantage of this break in their schedule to focus on scouting the good teams. That's kind of sad for college football that Michigan gets such a soft schedule that they don't even have to pay attention to who they're playing. They can already start advanced scouting Penn State and Ohio State. I disagree with Gary. I think that sign stealing to me is a minor thing.
Yeah.
But we love running with it. I mean, the Spygate thing, what was Spygate? At the end of the day, it was nothing.
Yeah,
and
but
it became a monster for the NFL.
You're right. And it also, kind of started labeling Belichick as, a cheater. And that stayed with a lot of people. Obviously, he's done so much winning. I thought this was, forgive me for getting a bit of a chuckle out of this. I know I shouldn't. But apparently the NCAA put Michigan State on high alert because Michigan's playing Michigan State this week. I'm like, you don't think Michigan State's got bigger problems?
But Michigan State on high alert for Michigan? Yeah, that's the least of their problems.
Also, do you know what their coach is accused of doing? I'm sorry, not even accused. He admitted.
Oh, my God. And by the way, Michigan State scandals, as far as they go, the Mel Tucker one is nothing.
Well, I know there's extremely serious ones, but right now they're in a really serious one where their head coach is on the phone having phone sex with a woman who wanted no part of it. You think they care about Michigan sign stealing?
They also have a big problem. They're going to lose that case big time. They're going to have to pay up millions to Mel Tucker. That's
headed towards a settlement.
Yeah, I mean,
definitely.
So he's due $85 million.
Something like 88, something like that.
Yeah, I read the legal people I read said he's going to get all that. So I don't know why Michigan State. This is why they don't just reset their entire athletic department. There's nothing but negative storylines. Anyway, the fact that they're on alert.
Yeah, alert. This is like a 50th on the list of priorities for Michigan State.
Yeah, they're on threat level midnight.
It's DEF CON.
Not to mention they're going to lose by 40.
One thing I read yesterday was that they considered not playing.
Wait, who?
Michigan State. For a second, they weren't going to play, thinking that they were walking into a trap because Michigan knew all of their things.
You know what that is? That's such a convenient, hey, we're going to lose by a lot. Yeah. Let's just say this isn't fair.
I mean, all of the stories that I read mentioned that other teams were still okay with playing Michigan, as if the conversation was had, do you want to play them still?
Yeah, that's a possibility.
Right.
Also, this used to remind me of when I used to play video games or something against my older brother, and he'd be on the verge. At one point, I'd be on the verge of beating him, and that would just be so incomprehensible in his mind. He just quit the game. Yeah. Just quit the game, start over, just
it doesn't count.
Yeah, it doesn't count.
It's got a name now. It's rage quitting.
Oh, right, rage quitting.
Yeah.
So
I feel like people were regretting that, though. Wasn't there a story? People were rage quitting.
Oh, because my son still plays 9-year-old level games like that, and he still says people will just bail.
Oh, sorry. I meant rage quitting your job. A corporate job was a different thing.
No. Just storming out of a video game. That's
Call of Duty.
Yeah. Because you were Trevor Lawrence threw a pick in some kind of Madden simulation.
Andrew Bogish is here for headlines. Good morning.
Good morning, guys. At this rate, the Astros should stay in Arlington or maybe wear their gray pants at home. They slugged their way to their 55th road win last night, and now the ALCS is a best 3.
The 0-1. Pulls it left center field and hits it well. Going back. Goodwood. Good night. Yes, sir, McCormick.
Oh, now we're getting a little naughty with our baseball highlights. Goodwood, good night. Robert Ford, Astros Radio. Chaz McCormick, 2-run homer among the finishing touches on a 10-3 knockdown of the Rangers. Jose Abreu's 3-run homer back in the 4th put Houston in charge for good after an early 3-0 lead had disappeared. Dusty Baker's team 8-1 at Globe Life Field.
I don't know, man. I mean, they keep asking me that same question. I got the same answer. I don't know. I know our guys, see the ball well here, and, the ball carries here. I mean, I think it carries better here, even though the dimensions are probably larger here than in our ballpark.
And now Baker can give the ball to Justin Verlander for Game 5 later today with the series tied at 2. The NLCS could be tied at 2 by the end of the day. The D-backs getting on the board with a 2-1 stunner over the Phillies yesterday. Ketel Marte gifted a game-ending RBI single by Philly closer Craig Kimbrell, who was too much of a gentleman to embarrass another pro team with a sweep in the semifinals. It was 24-9 Jaguars after 3 quarters in New Orleans on Thursday Night Football. Those Saints rallied, so Jacksonville quickly retook the lead.
Shotgun, empty backfield for Trevor. 3 right, 2 left, he drops. Looks, checks it down underneath. That's a crossing route to Christian Kirk. 30, 25, 20, 15, 10. Christian Kirk to the goal line! Touchdown, Jacksonville! A crossing route to Christian Kirk, and the Jags have retaken the lead!
Frank Frangie on Jags Radio, lone TD pass of the night for Trevor Lawrence, who played on that sprained left knee, but it was enough for a 31-24 win and a 4-game win streak.
That was the goal, is play, find a way to win the game, and not set it back. And we get 10 days now to recover and get ready for Pittsburgh. So, I mean, it went perfect, honestly. So it was really good.
Is that AI?
Yeah, it's Robo Trevor.
Is that Chat GPT quarterback?
He and the Jags are now 5-2 overall, their best start since 2007. Jimmy Garoppolo not expected to play Sunday against the Bears because of his back injury, but we don't know if it's Aiden O'Connell or Brian Hoyer instead of him under center. It's Connor Stallions. That's the Michigan football analyst reportedly at the center of these sign-stealing allegations. He may have had a covert job, was listed under the recruiting department, but maybe was being sent around to do all these things and then sit at the computer and break down all the signs.
Okay, so what's the dude's real name?
Not Connor Stallions?
I don't think Connor Stallions.
I don't know. It's like the Ohio State linebacker Steel Chambers. Like some guys just have killer names like that.
No, I
Amy
know.
Freeze doing the weather. She swears that's her real name.
Yeah, Amy Freeze. I know Amy. Yeah, Connor Stallion sounds like something you choose for yourself.
You wouldn't make up Connor. So the question is, where did the name Stallion come from?
It's Connor the Stallion.
Yeah.
Right? That's where Megan got it from.
Yeah, with 2 E's. Okay. Yeah, I think that's his real name. By the way, did you guys hear the Al Michaels call of the Christian Kirk touchdown by any chance?
No.
So Christian Kirk runs in the end zone, and he's sort of in the corner of the end zone. Al Michaels like, and he's out at the 1. And he goes, wait. He goes, wait. He's saying he's in. And then you see the reverse angle. He's not within 3 feet of the sideline. So at least I'm glad that the Jags radio got it.
You know, it's a little John Sterling, guys at the end. It's a little hard for them to see when the ball's leaving the yard or whether it's going to just be caught by the center fielder in plenty of space. I thought Al sounded...
It really hit me. I didn't know it was coming back that far.
Poor John got hit with a baseball. But I thought Al sounded a little different last night.
Oh, I thought the whole broadcast was a little low energy because I felt like both teams were frustrated last night. Like the Saints, it was just like Derek Carr was yelling at everybody. There was just, and there's something about the light. I don't know, there was just a pall over that game.
Yeah.
Maybe it was that Al wasn't into it, but I think he's trying.
Do you?
I'm going to say something.
I think he is.
And I just want to preface this by saying I think Al Michaels is amazing at what he does.
Oh, he's Mount Rushmore.
Love it.
Soundtrack of my life. Soundtrack of my life, Al Michaels, right?
But
sounded like dentures were loose or something like that. Like they could have came out. I don't even know if he wears dentures. I'm just saying. I'm not trying to be ageist there. I'm literally feel like his voice sounded different.
I agree. There was a different quality about his microphone or something last night, and it made me feel like he didn't want to be there more than usual.
God, I did not notice that. I'll listen back. But hey, there's no Al Michaels.
No, I don't. That's what I'm saying.
Unbelievable man. Greatest broadcaster.
Also, my mom randomly went up to Al Michaels once at a restaurant in Boston and was like, my daughter's a broadcaster. And Al was extremely nice to her. So he's obviously a prince of a guy. And my mom was like, yeah, he was sitting with someone else, but I didn't know who the other person was. It was Robert Kraft. My mom just went up to him at the Four Seasons or something. I don't know where they were.
But your mom's lovely. I'm sure
my
she
mom's
could have charmed
amazing.
Robert Kraft.
Yes.
I think the problem is not Al. I mean, and I'm a big Kirk Herbstreit fan as a person and a broadcaster. This is not working. Can we all admit that he's a college broadcaster doing NFL?
Yeah.
So he's like, yeah, I was at, he was talking about Trevor Lawrence last night. He's like, yeah, I was at both those games that he lost here. And I'm like, yes, because you are the voice of college football. What are you doing here? I keep saying that to myself.
But if Al's bothered by him, he shouldn't let it affect his performance.
Have you, the history of Al.
Well, yeah, Al
has not gotten along with a couple booth
anybody,
mates.
Right?
I don't know what you're talking about, Maggie.
Let's go ask Boomer.
But just keep chugging along. Don't be pouting because Kirk's not carrying his weight.
I don't think Al's that bad at all.
No, I think it's about the product on the field.
Yes.
Right.
He shouldn't be. His personal feelings should not be as involved in his voice as they seem to be.
I
lately.
think Al still gives a big game feel to it. Just hearing his voice, I feel like there's still something there. It's also the games because of Thursday Night Football have not been great. Even though last night was close, it was not a high quality played game. You could feel the Thursday nightness of it.
No. Jeffrey Howells in the chat, youtube.com/CBS Sports Radio says is a Fix-It-Ed commercial right around the corner. I didn't mean it.
Yeah, I would take that out of the podcast. I thought that was really mean.
I'm sorry.
That was not good. I don't want that coming back to me.
Well, the guy doesn't eat vegetables, so it's definitely possible that he has like weird health issues.
Yeah, he's never had a vegetable.
Yeah, which that you cannot confirm that. There's no way that Mrs. Michaels didn't give him vegetables growing up.
Hasn't had a salad.
He didn't have terrible parents that just gave him red meat. He's not a caveman.
No, but some guys, there's a couple broadcasters like this. Ian Eagle, again, who I love and has been so kind to me in my career. This dude, it has a few things. Like, he won't ever have ketchup or sauces or any condiments on anything. I don't think he eats vegetables either.
Nance has the all-timer to me where he apparently has a picture of the burnt toast that he wants because no one ever burns the toast correctly.
Hello, friends.
That's a lot.
I mean, those guys eat out like 200 days a year.
Yeah. I kind of like it because if I'm the restaurant, I want to make sure Nance is getting exactly what he wants. And when he says burn the toast, I guarantee my cooks in the back are not actually burning the toast.
Jim Nance of CBS Sports.
I mean, when a guy takes out a laminated picture of black toast and goes, "This is what I want," I might leave.
By the way, I love eating burned stuff too.
Oh, really? I don't like burnt toast. I don't like black on toast. I think it causes cancer too. I'm not sure.
It probably does. Those kind of carcinogens you do not want.
I'm just going to be safe and not eat.
So honestly, though, I still want to get invited to Toscano's. That's Al Michaels' restaurant, right in L.A. I think you guys are you're sort of poking the bear here. He's the coolest dude. The fact that he hasn't had a salad makes him one of the great males of our generation. I feel like
basketball.
What's that?
Green bean. It's okay.
Basketball. That's another thing.
Yeah, it was great in the movie Basketball.
All right, I'm sorry, Al. Bogus back to you.
I'm not. I stand by it. If you're scoring at home, James Harden has missed back-to-back Sixers practices. He hasn't been with them since Sunday, but there were rumors he'd show up for tonight's preseason finale. So keep watching.
Oh, wow, lucky Sixers.
Show up in uniform or just be in the crowd with a giant Pepsi?
No,
hot dogs?
He said he might play.
It's like 2 beers down front for James Harden. Wow, that's so cool. He's like willing to show up.
Yeah.
It's funny. I did see a picture of him the other day in street clothes. Looks skinny because that dude kind of fluctuates his weight. So he looks like he's in shape. I say I'd be happy if he didn't show up for this game and all 82 regular season games and all 2 rounds of playoffs and Sixers play. Just get rid of that dude.
He's just saving Fat Harden for later. He can't use all his tricks here up front. This is this. I'm going to stay away. I'm going to be randomly in Houston this week. Maybe I'll come to Friday's preseason game. If those things don't work, he'll get fat by like mid-December.
Also, I don't know, reinvent yourself, man. There's got to be a new way to burn your way out of town. We've already seen the fat stuff. We've already seen you going to a birthday party in a strip club when you're supposed to be with the team. We need something new and creative. I mean, he went to China and blasted the GM. This dude's got a couple ideas. I just want to see where this goes.
I think the universe wants Russell Westbrook and James Harden reunited. That would be the most amazingly bad basketball. Bring him to the Clippers, 82 games of dysfunction. It'd be the best. Then he'd burn his way out of there, too. Something new.
Yeah.
Last but not least, the Vegas Golden Knights, 5-3 winners in Winnipeg last night. They are the first Cup champs since the Oilers in '85 to open the following season 5-0. And now I'm done. Back to you guys.
Andrew Bogusch, thank you so much. Coming up, we're reading between the lines. What did one NFL star say? And then what did he mean? We'll get to that in a minute. Don't move. Maggie and Perloff, CBS Sports Radio.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. 4 minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. 1 minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. .45 seconds remaining. .30 seconds remaining. .15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Maggie and Perloff got a poll question up. Carlos, what is the poll question? It's Michigan scandal related.
Does the latest Michigan football investigation put a cloud over the season?
What's the early returns?
Early returns say yes, absolutely, 53%, and 46% say no. It's not a big deal.
Okay. So this is the sign stealing scandal. Allegations that Michigan sent a staffer to scout future opponents, which has been a no-no since the mid-90s. Okay, yes.
Yeah, with a little bit of background, Jim Harbaugh was already in trouble And he clearly had been lying about the previous scandal.
Yes,
there's just this air of cheating. So if they're as dominant as everyone thinks they might be, you're going to talk about it. I just feel like regardless if they're not going to be able to block them from the Big Ten title game or the Final Four, but you know how college football fits. I just say this is going to be attached to this team.
There was another scandal that also included a University of Michigan staffer where he was accessing email accounts inside Schembechler Hall without proper authorization. This guy ended up getting suspended. His name was Matt Weiss. If that investigation or that scandal rang a bell, an employee reported fraudulent activity involving someone accessing university email accounts without authorization. Upon further investigation, it was found that a crime may have been committed.
So why did he want these emails again? I don't remember that particular scandal. It's hard to tell with college football.
I don't know if we ever understood why, but maybe it's related to this. I have no idea. We want to play a little game here called Read Between the Lines with some NFL players. So we're going to play you a quote, and then Perloff and I will try to dissect what they actually mean. Okay, let's start off. Did we have Jerry Jeudy? No. Did we have... Who else was on this list today? Devontae Adams? Did we have... No? Saquon Barkley? No.
I thought we had all those guys.
Yeah, we were supposed to get all that. When I say we, I mean me. I didn't get any of that. So I'm going to get all of that.
You know what? Failure on two sides, not just you, because I do have a cut sheet, and I did not look to make sure that all of it
I was so
right
excited
there.
that I got here at 4:30 in the morning and found parking that I forgot what my responsibilities were.
Do you want me to reenact those quotes?
No,
Yeah,
I can
okay,
find it.
I'll give you the shorthand. Devontae Adams, give me the ball. Hey, I'm open.
What does he really mean? No, really, get him the ball.
Yeah, he's like, do you have eyes? Have you seen my team? Throw it to me, dude.
Jerry Jeudy says...
Not my fault.
Yeah, not my fault.
That I stink.
We can get Devontae Adams right now. Play that.
Okay, let's hear it.
If Jacoby goes out and have a monster game, or if the offense is scoring every 5 plays like our first drive on the Bills, then it is what it is. It's not about me, but I'm one of the bigger pieces, as to why this offense is going to go. And if I'm not getting it, then that's obviously not according to plan.
Yeah. Read between the lines. Unless it's absolutely perfect, you better be throwing the ball to me. You can let Jacoby Myers get a couple here and now, throw him a bone or two, but these targets have to be going my direction.
I was a little confused by this because I thought Devontae Adams had a shoulder injury, and then he got popped last week against the Patriots. I thought this was a function of him being hurt, that he wasn't getting these targets. Not throwing to him, if you're the Raiders, makes no sense.
Okay, but here's the thing about Devontae Adams. If he's on the field,
Yep.
I don't care really if he's hurt.
Let's spin it forward, though. Do you think that this is... Devontae Adams came out through reporters and said, I want to stay in Vegas. I don't want to be traded at the trade deadline. I love Aiden O'Connell, which was random. Do you think this is the beginning of maybe some wide receiver discontent? Maybe he will ask for a trade? Would you predict it preseason?
I think he's saying the right things. I think for Devontae Adams, it's very important to him, it appears, that he doesn't look like, oh, here we go again, a wide receiver who is a malcontent and is a drama machine and wants to get traded away. But here's the thing. He's to his credit, he hasn't been that way. However, he has left us some breadcrumbs here that have been not so subtle. Just go back to the offseason. He was clearly upset that they traded away Derek Carr, who was one of the reasons he even wanted to come to the Raiders. He had called out the organization about like, hey, what direction are we going in here? So that was before the season even started. And now the team is going to benefit from a very easy schedule, but make no mistake, this is not a great team.
Well, will they benefit? I think this game this weekend, the Raiders at the Bears, all of a sudden has a lot more meaning because if they're 3-3, if they go to 4-3, then we're talking playoffs. We don't even know who's starting. I keep reading the story, and they will not say if it's Aiden O'Connell or the veteran Brian Hoyer. I think Devontae Adams, it could turn south. If they lose this game to probably the second or third worst team in the league, I think there's going to be ramifications. And the Raiders are a high-profile team. I would watch this closely. And if I'm the coach, every play is Devontae Adams. I don't care if he's triple teams. Guess what? You're getting the ball.
Well, and it's going to be Tyson Badgett on the other side, right? So, as
you don't want to lose to that dude.
Can't lose to that guy just because, he's an undrafted rookie. out of Shepherd University.
Yeah, who's his claim to fame is his dad is an arm wrestling champion.
Pretty
He
cool.
looked okay last week. This is funny. I mean, normally I wouldn't even want to watch much of this game. This might be one of the more fascinating games of the weekend.
Yeah, that's saying something. But yeah, so Devontae Adams, I think he's telling you enough without outright saying, trade me.
No, see, I don't think he's saying trade me. I think you're right. He doesn't want to be that diva. I think he likes being in Las Vegas.
Sure.
I don't. It's fun. I could be totally wrong here. I don't see a trade in the future here because they're close enough to the playoffs. If you take Devontae Adams off that offensive roster, then you just have Josh Jacobs, and that is not really working right now. I think he stays. No, he's staying. If they lose this weekend, then we'll pick up the discussion. I don't see them getting rid of him.
And I wonder how many teams have called about him. Now, the crazy thing is his contract is huge. So you'd have to trade something and also fit him under your cap, which might take some of the real contending teams out of the running.
Also, you see him grab his shoulder sometimes. I think teams are watching that really closely.
It's possible. Okay, coming up, lots more on this Michigan sign-stealing scandal. Also got another game this weekend that, to the victors, really going to go to the spoils here. Like, the hype machine is going to be on overdrive, depending on who wins this game. We'll tell you about it in a moment. Don't move. Maggie and Perloff, CBS Sports Radio.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. 1 minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Forty-five seconds remaining. Thirty seconds remaining.
Oh.
15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
He's the reigning Fortnite champion. She's a Call of Duty legend. They are Maggie and Perloff on CBS Sports Radio.
Welcome to the show, Maggie Gray, Andrew Perloff. New morning show right here on CBS Sports Radio, tackling a big story in college football, and that is the University of Michigan being accused of sign stealing. So what does that mean? It's not the Houston Astros. It is Michigan sending a staffer on the road to scout future opponents in person. That's been a no-no since the mid-'90s, and now the heat's coming down on Jim Harbaugh.
Yeah, there's so many fun details in here. Dennis Dodd, our friend at CBS Sports, reported that 2 coaches told him that Michigan knew the signs. I guess I heard this from Sports Illustrated's Ross Dellinger, that last year The Athletic reported an anonymous coach at Michigan knew both sides of the ball. So Michigan's been on fire the last 2 years, and now there's just enough seed of doubt to make you wonder, ooh, did they have an unfair advantage here? Sign stealing, as you said, not illegal. The advanced scouting is illegal. I think this is huge because it is such a minor infraction, but Spygate to me with the Patriots was such a minor infraction, and yet 20 years later, or however many, 15 years later, we still talk about Spygate. It's still attached to Bill Belichick. So all you need is something like college football. It's just a little scandal to turn from a small flame into a big fire for Michigan.
Well, I mean, I hope they wouldn't have needed to break the rules to beat East Carolina 30-3. Or did you need to really be
those Pirates are tough, Maggie.
Self-scouting to go ahead to beat Nebraska 45-7? 52-10 against Minnesota. Like, honestly, it's...
Well, the thing is, their schedule's so light, they put all their resources into advanced scouting Ohio State and Penn State, right? I mean, that's why they can afford to do this. I'll bet you they've been breaking down Ohio State signs. So Michigan State, they play this weekend. You don't need to steal anything against them.
Michigan State's got way bigger problems right now.
And they're not playing well either. But if you're Ohio State, you have to change your signs, right?
I think, but see, that's why I think a lot of teams change their signs anyway. And if a coach came out last year and that story you said about The Athletic, like an anonymous coach already kind of implied that Michigan was doing this, that means every coach in the Big Ten already knows about this. They're already ticked off, I'm sure, about Jim Harbaugh. They're all sharing information. And now I'm sure whether it's Greg Schiano, who will play for you in a second, the Rutgers head coach who seemed to call this out during a game on national television. Amazingly, this is how little we pay attention to Rutgers. Whatever. But we'll play that for you in a minute. But you're going to have coaches who are going to bury Jim Harbaugh,
Well, again, but the other thing, too, is you bring up a good point. Like, you think Jim Harbaugh's the only one? I guess the famous one, everyone thinks Dabo Swinney's been stealing signs his entire time at Clemson.
Yeah.
There's a clip where Justin Fields would not. He said everyone's got to huddle close so they can't see what we're doing.
Oh yeah,
because
against
Clemson knows the signs. That's what Yahoo was reporting today. So you're right. Everybody does it. But not everybody's Jim Harbaugh. Not everybody's Michigan. Not everyone's number 2 in the country and the Vegas favorite to win the title. There's just more with Jim Harbaugh, who's already in a cheating scandal. He's a big personality, for better or worse. Pleated khakis, all that comes with him. I think this is a perfect storm. I think it adds a level of intrigue that's going to be a lot of fun.
You know, you're so right. I think that what makes this worse is this is probably every college football coach, but the reason why this seems real is because you could totally see Jim Harbaugh doing this.
Yes.
Totally. He gets no benefit of the doubt.
Just like you see Bill Belichick doing Spygate.
Yes, exactly. These guys are, it's Darth Vader, coaching football.
Yeah, if I told you, some other coach, say the North Carolina coach was doing this or something, nobody would really care. It'd be a
Mac
minor.
Brown?
Yeah, it'd be a minor story. Well, maybe Mac Brown would be good.
Mac Brown would definitely do this.
But I'm saying a mid-level coach, a team that's not Michigan.
Right.
A team that's not traditional powerhouse like that. I picked the wrong. Say Purdue's coach had been doing it.
Okay.
Brian Brom. Is Brian Brom the Purdue coach?
Louisville.
Oh, right. He played at Purdue. Who's the Purdue coach? Anyone know?
Thanks, Perloff. Let's hear from Greg Schiano. This is Schiano in the middle of the game. This is at halftime. Rutgers trailing Michigan. A couple weeks ago, this is what he said to the sideline reporter.
Coach, 4 penalties for your team in the first half, some that cost you. How do you clean that up in the second half?
Well, there's some stuff going on out there, so we just got to slow it down a little bit. There's some things going on that aren't right as well, so we'll talk about how to handle it.
Does Michigan defense keeping Gavin Wimsatt in this passing game in check? How do you adjust?
Well, just got to keep playing. We're in the game, we just got to keep playing.
Yeah, he's kind of left the door open. Now, at the time, kind of felt like a pretty innocuous thing, like there's a lot going on out there. I hate to source guess, but I wonder if some of these anonymous coaches who are coming forward.
Yeah.
Yeah, anyway. Ryan Walters is the head coach of Purdue.
Brian Brom was the coach last year.
We knew it all the time.
Brian Brom was there last year, so that's fine.
Yeah.
That's not the worst.
There's statute of limitations on that.
Yeah. Okay, whatever. Brian Brom played at Louisville, coached at Purdue. My bad.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's my point. If Brian Brom had done this, nobody would care because, this is a function of Jim Harbaugh, who already. I didn't follow the cheeseburger scandal that much. I guess that he was caught doing an illegal cheeseburger with a recruit, and then he lied about it. That's the issue.
Did you keep saying Brian Brom? Jeff Brom.
No, Brian Brom.
Jeff Brom is coaching at Louisville.
Oh.
Just to make sure we're totally correct here.
Oh, okay.
There you go. So the cheeseburger scandal, though, is...
So Brian is his brother, then?
Oh, I'm not sure. Anyway, yes, Brian Brom is his brother. Yes.
Who is the good quarterback? Help me out here.
Brian, but Jeff Brom is the Louisville head coach.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Brian Brom was at Purdue, right?
Yes.
Help me out here.
Yes.
Okay. And what does Brian Brom do at Louisville now?
He is the offensive coordinator, quarterbacks coach.
Gotcha.
So they're both on the staff.
My
at Louisville.
bad.
Okay, we got all that straight now. The cheeseburger scandal is, I believe, related to Jim Harbaugh having he was having contact with recruits during the COVID dead period for recruiting.
Right, and
then lied about it.
And did he have a cheeseburger with someone?
Yeah, that's what it was.
that
was the recruiting pitch.
Was it the big USC scandal, the illegal bagels?
No, the big USC scandal was Reggie Bush getting impermissible benefits.
No, I think, right. But USC, I think they provided illegal supplements on the bagels. Like they weren't supposed to put cream cheese on lox, or was that another team?
Yeah, I don't think it was also the smoked salmon. I think it was, if you just give someone a bagel, it's considered a snack.
Okay.
If you put cream cheese on it, it's now considered a meal.
Yes. I miss those days of the NCAA where every little thing.
Yes.
Illegal food is the best kind of food, by the way.
Find yourself eating illegal food?
Yeah, absolutely.
Like past its expiration date, or
no, like you
want to eat kangaroo or something?
I'm eating something that I shouldn't be given, and I just enjoy it. It tastes that much better.
Stolen.
Oh, stolen food. Do you remember a great movie? Now we're off on a tangent. Do you remember the great movie with Marlon Brando and Matthew Broderick called The Freshman?
Oh, I love that movie.
Fantastic movie. You guys seen this?
Oh, I have not.
That's the one with the Komodo dragon,
The
right?
Komodo dragon.
Oh, amazing.
It's from the 90s. It's about like a exclusive supper club, and Marlon Brando plays, of course, like a mafia don, and they have this exclusive restaurant thing, and they claim to be serving Komodo dragon, and Matthew Broderick is the boyfriend of the mafia don's daughter.
Yeah.
And blows up the whole thing.
How is that connecting to the scandal?
Illegal food.
Oh,
That's like
it's a
they were
different
eating
guy.
Komodo dragon because it was an endangered species.
Okay, that's a little different than a cream cheese topping.
And then a stolen donut.
Is serving Komodo dragon an NCAA violation? What is that on the books there?
It's an FDA violation.
I think the NCAA would be impressed if you're serving Komodo dragon.
Yeah, because I got to tell you, if you go down to LSU, you're going to see a lot of alligators on barbecues there.
Oh, man. I still can't believe you guys eat that.
It's a lot like Good Burger, the movie Good Burger, where
Yeah.
Mondo Burger was blowing up the burgers
Yes,
and
right.
making them, they were illegal burgers with all the stuff.
That's a Keenan Thompson movie. Good
Yes.
Burger.
Yeah,
He goes,
Keenan and Kel.
Do you want a good shake? That's my favorite joke. And he shakes him.
Get some good fries with that.
Yeah.
All right. We've gone far enough off the tangent here. Back to Michigan,
Yeah,
which is
if you're
embroiled in a scandal.
If you're sitting in your car, Jim Harbaugh did not serve Komodo dragon to any recruits. He apparently was too busy sign stealing. Although, did you say he claims he has no idea?
No clue. And that's what I would say if I were the head coach and the NCAA came knocking on my door. This is why I have 150 people on my staff, so that there's multiple people who can take the fall for me. Like, allegedly, the guy who is at the center of this, the person of interest, quote unquote, is someone named Connor Stallions, real name, apparently, who is a former Marine sergeant in the Marine Corps. Like, you've got special ops on your sideline.
Do you really need that to figure out
To
a
figure
sign?
out what-
By the way, the other thing too about college football signs, like they hold up a poster with different faces on there.
Yeah.
Is it that hard to steal those signs?
Well, those I'm assuming they're changing from week to week.
Yeah,
right?
they definitely are.
Um,
That's a question too. Like, how advanced are these college football signs? Dennis Dodd also reported that this is going to usher in a new era of college football, where now the coaches will be able to talk to the quarterbacks, which I wasn't even aware that there's no communication. He said they've been working on it and it's been coming soon. This is probably the death knell for the old sign system.
You know what is going to be the new scandal if that ends up happening?
Yeah.
The headsets mysteriously going out.
Yeah, like
Get
the Patriots.
ready for that. Patriots.
Frequency stealing, like for sure. You're going to be
Yeah.
jumping on other people's channels.
Especially like Ohio State, Michigan, because of the intensity of the rivalry. Like, can you trust anybody in any of those buildings?
No, clearly not, especially not in the Michigan building, because we've seen they are maybe willing to go the extra mile. Anyway, and who knows what everyone else is doing in college football.
Yeah, I mean, listen, cheating is the best. The Astros, how many years ago was the garbage can?
That was in the pandemic, so it was like right
For-
before the pandemic,
right.
2020.
I
But,
thi-
but it happened in
2000
2017.
Yeah, I think that's going to be with us, with the Astros for 30 years. Wouldn't you say? I don't think we're ever going to get past that.
No, I think the Astros and their fans will tell you, well, they've won a World Series since then, so
Yeah.
they should be absolved or exonerated from it. I don't think that's necessarily the case. I'll acknowledge that you won the World Series and they've been in the ALCS basically every year, but that 2017 title will always be tainted.
Yeah.
Like, you can't straight up say like, oh, no, this is on the level of all the other ones. No way.
And I think for a whole generation, they're going to be kind of referred to as those cheating Astros at some point. I mean, it's not a mistake. Everyone started tweeting out Michigan Astros last night. It takes a long time to get over this, as stupid and minor as this is. I think we both agree this is not the hugest infraction you've ever seen.
No, it's not, which is why I don't think there's like a cloud over Michigan now. You do.
I do. I just think that the way storylines sort of take over, it's game days in Ohio State this weekend. The signs are going to be wonderfully creative. If ESPN lets them on air, they're just going to murder Michigan for 3 straight hours.
855-212-4CBS, 855-212-4227. Let's start talking about our favorite sports cheating scandals of all time.
Oh, I mean, my
about that in the
favorite,
break.
my favorite all-time one.
Save it.
I
Save
love
it.
this one. Okay.
Save it. We'll do it on the other side. Start thinking about your favorite cheating scandal. But PEDs, we know. Let's get past that. We got it. They were all juicing in the 90s in baseball. Although some of the details of some of those are actually pretty good. Anyway.
And the guy overseeing it is in the Hall of Fame.
Yes, that is true. Bud Selig. 855-212-4CBS, 855-212-4227. So we get to that. Also, major implications for a couple NFL games this weekend. We'll tell you, though, who's going to be unstoppable if they can just win this weekend. Get to that in moments. Don't move. Maggie and Perloff, CBS Sports Radio.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. .45 seconds remaining. .30 seconds remaining. 15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
We're back here on Maggie and Perloff. It's not too hard to tell on my Twitter feed who's an Ohio State fan and who's a Michigan fan. So I put out that question, should Michigan get an asterisk? Here's I think this might be an Ohio State fan. Outscoring C.J. Stroud and 3 other first-round picks, along with Rose Bowl champ Penn State 69-6 in the second half last season, seems awfully fishy. Oh, that's what I'm talking about. This is such a stupid infraction, but the fans are so rabid against Michigan, I think it's going to completely become a thing.
Yeah, the infraction is sign stealing allegations, sending a staff member to advance scout a team in person, which has been outlawed by the NCAA since 1994. Yeah, but what's the excuse against TCU? Couldn't get the signs? I mean, are we going back that far?
I think they
Michigan
seem
lost
to have
TCU last year.
TCU's defensive signs, at least. They just, I guess TCU mixed it up. No, of course, this is probably, in the big picture, not the biggest cheating scandal ever. I just think Michigan and Ohio State and Penn State, there's so much heat around these teams right now that it'll be something. Other people disagree, say it'll go away by Tuesday, but I don't think so.
I think so. I think this one goes away. If you want to vote on our poll about whether this will be a cloud over Michigan's season, you can go to @Maggie and Pearl on Twitter. Of course, you can find us, Maggie and Perloff on Instagram, Maggie and Perloff on TikTok, Facebook.com/Maggie and Perloff, also YouTube.com/CBS Sports Radio, which is where you can hang out with the Weedos and the coffee drinkers in the chat, and they are a very, very friendly bunch, and if you want to watch the show. Speaking of cheating, underhandedness, people trying to get away with stuff, this story comes to us from Spain. There's a man who is originally from Lithuanian descent, but he's living in Spain, and he has apparently made a habit, Perloff, of dining at very fancy and expensive restaurants, and then when the bill comes, he fakes a heart attack to get out of paying for all these expensive items that he has just eaten and drank.
Unbelievable.
20 times, according to Spanish
authorities.
He must
be good at it.
Well, I mean, you're going to fake a heart attack. People aren't expecting that you're going to be, manufacturing this out of thin air so you don't have to pay for your paella. I mean, come on. It's like a pretty diabolical scheme here. You're preying on people's, sympathy. And you're just trying to rip off a hardworking people that own a restaurant.
No, I understand the ethics of it, but it's so over the top that you kind of have to respect it.
I don't respect it.
There's nowhere he's not even trying something more subtle, like saying, maybe some gastro distress or something else. To fake a heart attack, if you're all in like that, you have to respect that.
Also, when you fake a heart, thankfully, knock on wood, I've never actually seen anybody have a heart attack, so I hope I never see that in my life. That would be extremely distressing. However, is this where it's like the movies? Where someone's like, oh my God, my heart. And you're, I don't know what this looks like, because I'm going to tell you something I do have some experience with. How they portray having a baby in movies, not how it goes. Okay?
How so?
Yeah.
What do they do in movies?
It's like, push, boom, there's the baby.
And the woman has makeup on and is smiling.
She looks great. Yeah, no, that's not how it goes. So I'm wondering, does this guy actually know, is he a good actor? Or is he just so over the top, doing something theatrical?
I don't think most waiters know what a heart attack looks like either. So I think we're in the realm of ignorance. Unless there's a doctor 2 tables over who come over. I mean, this is terrible because I would never do it, but I think I could fake a heart attack. Couldn't you?
No, I don't think so. Unless I was just doing...
Clutch your chest and fall over and pass out?
I don't think I have it. I'm a terrible actress. I don't think I could do it. Now, this guy, how he got pinched in this particular situation where he had ordered paella, seafood paella, 2 whiskeys, and I think there's something called a fancy steak that has a French name that I cannot pronounce. The bill came to, this one was just 2 whiskeys and seafood paella. He received a bill for $36 at the end of the meal.
That's a deal.
He told the manager of the
seriously.
restaurant that he needed to go to his hotel to get cash to pay, and the restaurant didn't let him leave. And then he threw himself on the ground dramatically and pretended to have a heart attack, and they called the police. Then they realized he's been doing this kind of executing this all over town.
Yeah, I wonder how they figured out the past infractions. Since we're talking about cheating, they went back in his history and
They
found
rolled
out,
the tape.
Yeah, where did they figure out how many fake heart attacks he had? Is there a record of this?
I wonder if people had, after the fact been like, that was a little fishy, maybe alerted the police or something. So, yeah, he had a rap sheet.
Well, I'm glad he's okay and they weren't real heart attacks. Maybe. Is there a positive? Is there a silver lining here?
I'm sorry. He had been arrested multiple times.
Oh.
Yeah. So, yeah, he did. He actually had a paper trail.
I think I'm hungry because that paella and that French steak now have me very, very interested. I'm a big paella fan.
Me too.
Not the whiskey. Said on my ad either.
Yeah. 7:30 a.m. Eastern
That
time.
sounded good. That combination of foods.
Yeah, you gave me 2 whiskeys. I got crushed an entire dish by
You're right about that.
Hey, let's all go out afterwards and fake heart attacks and get a paella.
Well, I mean, if I see the bill, I might have a real heart attack.
Right. Everyone just to look around each other. 3, 2, 1.
Yeah, I just picture we're sitting at a table. The 5 of us get paella and all fake heart attacks. 3 tables over. I'm not going to get what that table was having.
We put the place out of business just because.
Whatever they were having, I think I'm just going to go with the hamburger.
Yeah. Seafood paella something you crave at 7:30 a.m.? The whiskey I get.
Yeah, the whiskey sounded delicious too.
It's do I eat shrimp at 7:30 in the morning?
I've never been to Spain, but I heard the food is really good.
It's great. I've been lucky enough to go to Spain. Food's amazing. But you can also get caught up there eating some things you might not want to eat without knowing it. So, for example, I was in a town in the south of Spain. They were doing this whole big paella thing, and it turned out one of the ingredients in the paella was rabbit testicles.
Wait, what?
Yep. I didn't eat it, and I was thankful that I was with some people who are familiar with this tradition. They gave me a warning.
I would have tried it. You if you get paella with rabbit testicles, don't you want to at least, I don't know, try it just to say you ate it?
I've eaten Rocky Mountain oysters before. Like, you take a bite, but that's like deep fried with ranch dressing on the side. It could be anything.
But I would think that rabbit testicle is so small that
it's like a bean.
Yeah, it's like that's
caviar.
not a big deal.
Add a lot of hop to it.
I ate horse
Nice.
by accident in
Nice.
France. That wasn't fun.
How'd you figure out it was horse?
So I was there for the French Open, and my wife, who knew a little bit of French, was trying to teach me some things to say while I was going to be in Paris for 2.5 weeks. And she knew that horse is on menu, so she said, "Don't ever order anything that says cheval. That's horse. You don't want that." So I told the story to the people I was working with at the French Open. Last night of the tournament, there's a party for all the workers, sitting there passing hors d'oeuvres, drinking. There's mini cheeseburgers, I think.
Oh.
Grab it, pop it in my mouth. Everyone starts laughing. And they go, there's your horse. I made it like 17 days. No horse. And there was a cheese horse meat slider.
How was it?
It was actually pretty good.
Yeah.
But again, it's the same thing. It's meat with a big thing of cheese on top and relish and a bun and ketchup. Nothing like tasting fresh horse.
Listen, are we really above going to a restaurant in France, ordering cheval and faking a heart attack? I don't think so.
Are we the type of show that goes to France and fakes a heart attack?
We also have Carlos. There was a day where he showed up and his entire wardrobe was worth like $2,000. So we could just take off his shirt, trade that in for our meal. We'd be fine. No fake
They
heart
have to
attack.
give me change.
Yes, thank you for the Yeezys. And we'll be...
So I read a lot of Western books. You're not going to believe this about me. Larry McMurtry's my favorite author, the guy who did Lonesome Dove. And there's always a scene in any Western book, a Louis L'Amour, where the cowboy has to eat his horse. It's like to
really?
survive. Yes. So it's like, yeah, bingo, you've been a great horse. You've taken me all over the world. Now I'm going to shoot you in the head, and to survive, I'm going to eat you.
Like, crying while eating it.
You'll always be a part of me.
It's like Luke cutting open that thing in Star Wars and climbing inside to stay warm.
Yeah, or Leonardo DiCapri's character in The Revenant.
Yeah,
does that.
exactly.
Right.
I mean, if it was a matter of survival, you'd eat your horse, right?
I'd eat Pete to stay alive.
Wait a minute now.
Yeah. You're going a little live the movie situation there. Yeah, by the way, if we ever have to resort to cannibalism, I feel pretty safe in this crew. No one's going to, I'm pretty skinny. There's no one going after me.
Honestly, you are the last person.
Yeah.
It's just like
I'd be
all
nervous if I were
bone.
you, Bilotti.
I know.
and put in some. Yeah, you look delicious.
Make sure you can get out.
Yeah. If one day I accidentally pour barbecue sauce on your head, let you marinate.
You gotta learn how to sprint and sprint fast.
You look delicious. We were talking about what you wouldn't eat at 7:30 in the morning, and I said shrimp. And Perloff's like, I'd eat Bilotti.
I'm saying if we crash, if we're like going on a remote to somewhere.
Where the Andes Mountains?
Yeah,
where
we're in the Andes.
Where do we go?
Don't come to San Antonio with me and Perloff.
Don't worry, I'll make it easy for you. I'll jump off the cliff to help you.
The last place we went was Kansas City. We're not going to be in a place where we have to resort to cannibalism.
Well, I know we're big in Boise, Idaho, the Nez Perce Mountains. I've spent significant time there. You could get trapped up on a mountain there and eat Bilotti.
What was the trail that people had to eat each other? You know.
Oh, that's in Washington, right?
What was that called? The pass.
Yeah. That is.
You guys learn about this in history class.
I think we have an affiliate
school.
there.
Oh,
the mountain.
Like, these people were like settlers, and they had to go through the
the Donner Party.
The Donner Party.
That's right.
That was like 7th grade social studies.
That's right.
If the Donner Party, that I think is kind of up near Washington State, near Pullman.
Here's the question: what was the point of teaching us about the Donner Party?
We didn't learn about the Donner Party. That was part of your American history?
Yeah.
That was Oregon Trail for adults.
I guess so, but it's like, what's the point?
Is that substitute teacher day?
Probably. Definitely.
Sounds like a good lesson for our sub.
I feel like Pete's suddenly nervous, and I would be too if I were him.
Yeah.
I think it's a compliment. You do look delicious.
Thank you.
Pete, would you mind taking a shower in A1 sauce for me?
No, I'll pass.
Bogus is here with some headlines.
Oh, yes, I am. The wonderful people of Philadelphia did their part yesterday, buying tickets to Game 3 of the NLCS in Arizona with no plans to attend, so there'd be empty seats and less noise for their baseball team to contend with.
Is that true?
It didn't work really well, but some people did because it was so cheap to get into the game yesterday.
Yeah.
Tickets were like the cheapest, like $19. They were buying tickets to leave empty seats, but it didn't work because the place was packed. But either way, selfless, generous, innovative idea, and yet the city and its fan base still has detractors like former Marlins exec David Sampson.
In Philly, there were years when they were not in the playoffs, and it's quiet, and they're grumpy, and they're rude, and it's empty. And now all of a sudden it's a bunch of front runners who are going crazy and cheering. They're not even in the top 5 fan bases in all of baseball.
How dare he?
By the way, what are the Marlins? Where's the Marlins fan base?
That's a funny statement from him.
I think they have the lowest attendance in the league.
Yeah, so I don't understand. Listen, he's not wrong about any of that, but still, he can't say that. He was the Marlins president.
I know, but no. Even when the Marlins were winning the World Series that they did, I don't think anyone was like, and look at that dedicated Marlins fan base. Like, nobody there wanted the stadium.
And by the way, the other thing about that criticism, he's like, they're not even top 5. So what does that mean? They were like 8? That's the criticism of the fan base?
They're best 7.
Yeah.
You don't
they're
crack
not
my
even
top 11.
Yeah. They say that this is a great fan base. They're number 3 in the whole league. I mean, come on.
Although we do love David Sampson, who comes on the show quite frequently,
Yeah.
or used to when we were in the afternoon.
No, that's an old NL East rivalry going there.
It is funny, though, because there is no quieter ballpark than the Marlins.
Oh, I imagine.
Emptier.
Well, Tampa, though, too, right?
Tampa, I feel like there was one
A lot
game
of
that was
Yankee
played
fans.
with 5,000 people there. And I
Yeah.
think that was a Marlins game.
So I think there are Rays fans that don't go to the game. I don't know that there are Marlins fans.
There have to be some. But yeah, I think the
They've
team
been-
resisted. They definitely, the city was like resistant of the stadium.
Yeah, I mean, 2 World Series, right? There should be fans, but I've never really met a Marlins fan.
But think about it, right? Like, and that was sound courtesy of the Levitard show. So they're in Miami, and I think there's a lot of Marlin fans on their
Yeah,
on their
sure.
show. But think about what they did. They won World Series and then dismantled the team the next year. So, you know, you have this high of highs, but then the Marlins then sold all the pieces off like soon after. Like Miguel Cabrera.
Yeah, I mean,
Maybe you want to keep him around.
I will be honest, though. Philadelphia is definitely a football town. So you'll be at a Phillies game and there'll be a Dallas sucks chant starts. So I do think there's some truth to that. I agree. I do think that there's some bandwagonism going here. And I am on it.
Yeah, considering you have like created a whole new level of bandwagoning.
They are too.
But I told you guys last night that Phillies bullpen is a mirage. That's called regression to the mean. You guys are messing with me and saying the Diamondbacks are done.
They're done.
They're not done.
We'll get
I'm
them
telling
next
you
time,
right
champ.
now. Once the bats slow down, the bats could go completely asleep like the Dodgers and the Braves. This series is just beginning, my friend.
It's one mistake.
It was one run.
They got shut out by a guy who was named Brandon Pfaadt, who was 3-9 with a 5.72 ERA, had a career high 9 strikeouts. Bogus. Explain that.
It
then.
happens.
I think he should have just gone with. No, my last name is pronounced Fat.
P-Fat.
Would have been so much cooler.
It should have been Pfaadt. What's his deal? I was asking around this morning, and no one knew anything about him.
Never heard of him.
I said,
is he a jerk? Did he make up a bad last
No, I
name?
go up to Maggie this morning. I'm like, tell me the background of Brandon Pfaadt. And
Yeah.
she's like, can't help you.
This is when Perloff treats me like Wikipedia. I'm like, I don't have the info.
Yeah,
Where
like,
did he go to high school?
why was this dude a 5th-round pick? Were there health concerns? Was it his character?
Perloff thinks I've seen an MRI or
Yeah.
something. Like
Issues with the slider in high school? What's going on here,
Is he
Maggie?
a real pitcher?
Yeah, like the Diamondbacks, they bring me in on all of their big time personnel decisions.
I thought you were sort of half your job was being a professional baseball scout.
Yeah, exactly.
Like in
Your job,
Moneyball. In Moneyball. You're one of the people sitting around the table getting yelled at by Brad Pitt.
Yeah, because there's 50 feet of crap and then us. Yeah.
He's a 5-tool player.
The Phillies did lose last night, or yesterday afternoon, I guess, 2-1. Ketel Marte, a game-ending RBI single for Arizona. So it's now a 2-1 Philly lead in the series. Game 4 at 5 Pacific today. Game 5 of the ALCS at 4 Central in Arlington. The road team now 4-0 in that series, with the Astros roughing up the Rangers last night 10-3 to get the series even. Jose Altuve, 3 hits, scored 3 times in his 100th postseason game.
I think the chemistry we have, we came here, everybody was, just to encourage each other to go out there and play the way we did last 2 days. Like I said, nobody's trying to be the hero. Everybody trusts the guy behind you.
Maybe Jose Abreu, though, was the hero last night. His 3-run homer in the 4th broke the game open. Justin Verlander, Jordan Montgomery back on the mound today. 8 people total, 4 of them managers, are on the Cooperstown ballot to be considered by the Contemporary Era Committee.
Good list.
Those skippers are Jim Leland, Lou Piniella, Davey Johnson, and Cito Gaston.
Wow.
Like the main ballot, they need 75% of the vote for enshrinement. The boos were raining down into the 3rd quarter, but the Saints did erase a 24-9 hole and then lost the Jaguars at home on Thursday Night Football 31-24. Derek Carr frustrated.
We came here, everybody was
Look,
it sucks right now. We're finding everything that sucks right now. We're going to point it out, we're going to call it out, and we're going to try and work on that to get better as leaders. And that's our job.
Carr threw a touchdown and a pick 6. He kind of threw the tying touchdown pass in the final minute, but tight end Foster Moreau dropped the pass in the end zone. Shockingly, Jim Harbaugh says he knows nothing about any and all sign-stealing allegations. Michigan under investigation for allegedly sending someone to watch future opponents in person, which is against NCAA rules. We're told that a gentleman named Connor Stallions, who technically works in the Wolverines recruiting office, might be the culprit. The NCAA trying to get access to his computer.
Yeah, otherwise known as him Jarbaugh.
I mean, if you're a former Marine, as this Connor Stallions is, like, this has got to be the easiest assignment you've ever had in your career.
What's camouflage? You put on a Rutgers hat?
Yeah.
I'm blend in with the student body.
The Rob Lowe, like NFL, logo
Just
on
a
your
big
hat.
NCAA logo on a hat.
I'm glad you mentioned that because that's how he's ID'd in the first paragraph of the story.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking like, okay, so is this like a thing like be nice to him? He's a vet. And then it's like, or am I supposed to think that he knows sneaky ways to spy and then he's smart and you can break these things down?
Yeah, avoid detection. I mean, I imagine
But he's not
that's
going in face paint with like those like weird like bush
Stripes.
things in front of him to like hide in the stands.
Oh yeah, with like the leaves on his helmet,
Right.
Like in a movie.
I'm looking at pictures of him. He is as normal a human being as you could possibly see. He kind of looks like he could blend in. So I think they got a top secret operative.
That's a talent.
By the way, Maggie, thinks that Jim Harbaugh is going to leave Michigan after this year.
Yes.
Makes a lot of sense. What's a team that might have a vacancy next year that has a history of watching the other team's signs? Where could Jim Harbaugh go? I wonder. I mean, you might as well book your flight to Logan Airport in Boston, Jim Harbaugh. He'd be a great fit for the Patriots. You go from grumpy Bill Belichick to grumpy Jim Harbaugh.
Can you bring Connor Stallions with you?
Connor Stallions is definitely coming along for life.
Or the team that ratted him out.
Oh, yeah.
It's another one.
I like their department, too. They're obviously on top of stuff.
Well, it is ironic. Greg Schiano, who's best friends with Bill Belichick, is one of the people who's obviously after Harbaugh. I'm like, yeah, like you've never cheated, dude?
They've all, I'm sure, just blanket statements.
Yeah.
They've
It's
all
college
bent the
football.
rules.
It's football.
Yeah,
if
but
you ain't cheating, you ain't trying.
I know, but I think I would imagine there's a couple coaches out there who were like ready to pounce on Jim Harbaugh. Like,
Absolutely.
these guys are vultures.
Oh,
on each
absolutely.
Other. Negative recruiting against each other, all that stuff.
Totally.
Jim Harbaugh to the Patriots.
Was this a direct audition for New England, you think?
That's smart.
I don't know. I mean, I've actually never thought of that combination of team and coach because Jim Harbaugh probably will interview this year for the NFL once again.
Definitely.
Maybe if Belichick, does that make any sense?
I mean, Jim Harbaugh was doing an interview with the Minnesota Vikings on signing day. Like, this dude's been wanting to leave. But now I think that if he like wanted front office, oversight or really wanted input on personnel, I think his demands probably have to be getting milder and milder with every every scandal.
No, I don't think so because I think he's going to win the title and then he's going to pick his job. I mean, if they can beat Ohio State, then they're on their way. I think New England, if they do fire Belichick, then that's an opening GM and a coach. Maybe that's a perfect fit. Maybe we should start this rumor. Hey, I'm hearing Jim Harbaugh, Patriots.
I'm hearing they're going to sub out one sign stealer for another.
Yeah, I mean, that being said, we don't know that Belichick's going to. We're not saying that's over, are we?
It feels like it should be.
Yeah, it feels like it's ending. Maggie's already booking Jim Harbaugh interviews. You're basically his personal secretary. There's no way he's staying.
Definitely. And I've had another thought about Belichick, too, which is, Belichick like lives rent-free in my head. I'm nervous about this guy. Kicked my team's butt for 20 years, blah, blah, blah. But, maybe I'm looking at this the wrong way. Like, Belichick's teams are not good now. Like, now's the time you actually want to keep them around. I got to get rid of the old way of thinking. You bring in Jim Harbaugh, maybe they're winning 10, 11 games. Right now, Patriots are like a 4 or 5 win team. I got to be thinking a little more strategic.
I got to
keep him.
Keep him. I got to be like more on the Marine Corps on this one and really think this thing through.
What do you mean to tank and get a high draft pick?
No, I'm saying keep Belichick around because this is the only time that the Bills actually have beaten Belichick.
Oh.
Right. Don't all of a sudden now bring in a hotshot coach who's going to be going to be better.
You're trying to speak as a Bills fan. I thought you were saying a smart strategy for the Patriots would keep him now.
No, I'm saying for my team, he kicked my team's butt.
You can't have it that way.
Why not? That's why I want Jerry Jones to still own the Cowboys. They're a non-factor as long as he's there.
Amen.
It's the same idea.
Well, also Belichick benefited. Listen, he's an all-time great coach, but he definitely benefited from the rest of the teams in the AFC East were so awful throughout the time he had with Brady. Like that definitely helps.
Well,
they
or
put up
was
no resistance whatsoever.
But was it because those teams just kept firing coaches because they kept losing the Patriots, so they were desperate chasing the Patriots, and they never built a good team?
Sure, that too. That too.
Well, that's in the past, Maggie. You're fine.
Yeah. That it? Yeah.
Yeah, why not?
Okay.
Day by day.
Yes.
There's a rumor that Lincoln Riley's going to team up with Caleb Williams and go to Chicago next year.
Yeah, that's a rumor you started, I think.
No, it's reported. Really? No, it's definitely huge. It was reported at USC, like Lincoln Riley's looking at the Bears this week. How about Harbaugh and McCarthy to the Patriots? McCarthy's in mock drafted 3 or 4 or 5. And then Harbaugh could just go with his quarterback to New England.
I could see it. I just wonder when you're Lincoln Riley and you're looking at the Bears, you're just like, what am I seeing here? This is a terrible team.
Yeah, I don't know that they care because I think coaches think, I could turn around anything, right? That's coach mentality.
For the right price.
I understand this is going from Southern California to Chicago is not great.
Well, I'm just saying, like, I don't look at the Bears and be like, this is a sleeping giant we've got here. I think it's a team that still needs a massive rebuild.
No, they're just sleeping.
Well, is it just because they're going to pick first? Like, it would be any team. It's not specific to Chicago. He'd be looking at whomever is going to have that first pick.
He wants to team up with Caleb.
Yeah, just make sure that it's not going to be terrible. But even if you think about it, I mean, the NFC North is
winnable
as good
right
as
now.
The Lions are.
Yeah.
It's not. You're not signing up to deal with Mahomes for the next decade in the AFC West, so it's not the terrible landing spot to go into. Might have a new building sometime soon.
Wow. Minnesota's going to have a new quarterback soon, but still.
Yeah.
Wow, you just sold me on Chicago. That's some great points, Bogusch.
855-212-4CBS. Bogusch is going to be going with that staff to be recording future
Bears
opponents.
updates.
855-212-4227. Thank you, Andrew Bogusch. Coming up, we've got, of course, we check in with one of the other most interesting coaches in college football. We'll do that next. Don't move. Maggie and Perloff, CBS Sports Radio.
You're in a 5-minute break. .45 seconds remaining. .30 seconds remaining. 15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Welcome back to the show. Maggie Gray, Andrew Perloff, mornings here on CBS Sports Radio. We're talking a lot about the Michigan scandal, the sign stealing scandal that is now, creating a lot of headlines. Jim Harbaugh says he knows nothing about it. Okay.
Yeah, right.
I don't know. We always think that for college football coaches, especially, like, nobody can fart in Ann Arbor without Jim Harbaugh knowing about it, especially not someone on his staff or one of his players. That's how it always seems to be. Maybe I'm wrong about that, but I've always thought that about college football coaches, especially ones in small towns.
Yes, although I do think Northwestern's going to get slaughtered in their legal case against Pat Fitzgerald. All indications are they're going to lose that one bad.
Oh, that he didn't know about the hazing situation.
Yeah, I do think that there probably stuff that happens amongst the players that the coach might not know, but if the assistant coaches are involved, 100% they know everything.
And there's also the should have known. You know, even if you can claim you didn't know, should you have known?
But once you get into the contract world, like the should have known is a lot weaker than did know.
Well, I would think if Michigan was sending somebody to scout future opponents in person, there's going to be receipts, there's going to be flights, there's going to be hotels, there's going to be all this paper trail of why is this person going to, scout Georgia or
That's
whatever.
That's a great point. Unless Connor Stallions, is that his name, the former Marine who is the guy who actually did this?
Yeah.
Maybe he was
allegedly
so stealth that he paid in cash and did all these incognito things like a spy. Wouldn't that be much more fun?
I think it definitely. I think it is not a small detail that he is a former Marine. This is somebody who.
Well, it's not CIA though.
No, but he has more skills than the average person in going undetected.
I guess that's if you're sort of invading a country via the beach. I think that's
covert ops.
Yeah. At covert ops, I think more like CIA, like a real spy.
It's not James Bond. I mean, that was MI6 actually, or MI5.
Well, I'm sorry, I forget. It was Carlos who said he went incognito and put on a Rutgers hat. That's hardly deep cover. Yeah, although any normal person who's not a Rutgers fan wearing a Rutgers hat would be surprising.
A little strange. Let's get to our Daily Deion.
Daily. Do you believe that? Deion. You believe that?
All right, you might be asking yourself, Maggie, Perloff, why are you doing the Daily Deion when Colorado's on a bye this week? Well, it's because the intrigue in Deion never stops. Yesterday, Jean-Jacques Taylor was a guest on the show. He's got a new book out about Deion Sanders, and we asked if he would ever coach in the NFL, specifically if Jerry Jones and the Cowboys came calling. Would he really be able to turn it down?
What can $30 million buy Deion that he can't buy right now? Nothing. So money doesn't change his life. And so, he just likes working with kids. So no, I could never see him going to the NFL. I could never see him coaching in the NFL. He doesn't like dealing with grown men at that level because he's a hard coach. He's like Nick Saban. Why didn't Nick Saban work in the NFL? Because players say, I'm a grown man. You can't tell me this or that. You can't talk to me like this. And so, that's why he'll never, he may coach high schools. He may go to another college someday. I don't know. But he'll never go to the NFL.
Okay, Perloff, you thought this didn't seem right to you.
I love Jean-Jacques Taylor. I've known him a long time. Great guy, great reporter, great columnist. I cannot believe that if Jerry Jones comes up with $30 million, Deion Sanders would say no. First of all, what's the big difference between a 20-year-old college football player and a 25-year-old NFL guy? Every college coach tries the NFL. How many have not tried it? I mean, the aforementioned Nick Saban tried it. Urban Meyer tried it. Steve Spurrier tried it. I think that Deion...
Pete Carroll's done well at the NFL level.
Well, Pete Carroll started as an NFL coach, so it's a little different. But I think that generally, first of all, that is a lot of money. I can't imagine Deion's worth $300 million. Secondly, I think his ego would be tempted. I really do. Because I love college football, but NFL is probably a tad more prestigious. And if he's a Cowboy, he's best friends with Jerry Jones, they're really tight. I still see it as a possibility.
See, I believe this, and I thought we're being a little quaint here with this $30 million number. I mean, look at what John Gruden got. Look at what Sean Payton got. I mean, these guys are getting $100 million.
Well, is he saying $30 million per year?
Oh, was he saying per year? I thought it was going to be like $30 million, give him a little tryout. Okay, maybe $30 million per year. So it's going to blow it out of the water. So I did a little digging about how much money Deion Sanders has made in his career. Now, from what's available from public records, it looks like, according to Forbes, Deion made about $60 million just from his professional sports contracts. $45 million in the NFL, $15 million in baseball. But as we know, Deion is much bigger than just his athletic days, right? Like, he was working at NFL Network, and I'm sure making quite a bit there. He's definitely comfortable enough.
Wow! Don't make me say that. $60 million with taxes. I mean,
right? Doesn't go as far as he used to.
In reality, taxes agent that money disappears pretty quickly. To the agent's a big fee too. Whatever. I'm not going to say that feel bad for him.
Right.
But that money can't still be around that much. That was a long time ago. That was at 89, 90.
Well, yeah, you'd hope that if you invested it right and.
I don't know. I don't think he's average. He made, I read, between $1 million and $2 million a year. He was at NFL Network for 14 years.
Yeah.
So that's a big chunk of money too. But again, it's not like.
No, I get it. He got a couple divorces in there.
Nick Saban probably has $400 million in the bank. I can't imagine Deion, unless he has a totally different revenue stream, a marketing stream.
Well, he's getting paid to be a pitch man. That's for sure.
Yeah, that could be a lot of money right there.
I mean, the music career.
Still, what about
he was on SNL?
What about the prestige of being the Dallas Cowboys head coach? That's not tempting?
I kind of believe that he doesn't want to deal with guys who are making $50 million in the locker room.
I get that.
Have a little control. Okay, coming up, a lot more to do, including, can the Dolphins finally beat a good defense?
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. 2 minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Forty-five seconds remaining. Thirty seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
She can put away a large pizza by herself. He's allergic to cheese. They are Maggie and Perloff on CBS Sports Radio.
Welcome to the show. Maggie Gray, Andrew Perloff on this Friday. So glad to have you. We've got a scandal involving Michigan with some nefarious sign stealing that's sending an advanced scout to go, staffer to scout a future opponent in person. That's against the rules. So now Jim Harbaugh has to answer for yet another NCAA infraction, Perloff. He is gone to the NFL in 3, 2, 1, win the title and leave.
Yeah.
And the next coach will have to clean up all the penalties.
Well, that is a big assumption that I've been making too, that they're going to walk into the Final Four. What happens to them in the Final Four is a totally different animal. But here's the reality of the situation is their opponents know we better change our signs now, which probably is easier said than done for these colleges. But now it's out there. So I don't think there's going to be any advantage. I still think the way people cover sign stealing, this is going to stick to the team. We're going to be talking about, hey, remember that 2023 Michigan team? Oh, right, the one with the sign stealing.
Yeah, well, listen, opposing fans will look for any reason to discredit, a rival's championship. Like, how many people call into question the Lakers title in 2020? Bubble title. Yeah. Same thing with the Dodgers. It was a pandemic year. You can't put that on par and on pace with the others.
Well, I mean, look at your Bills fans and Jets fans and Dolphins fans say, oh, Deflategate, Spygate. Like, they always put a little asterisk next to the Patriots.
Yeah, and the Patriots, I think, have earned that. And Bill Belichick, not about Deflategate, but definitely about Spygate. And quite frankly, like, their sign stealing continued. They never stopped. They still were getting in trouble for that, like, years later with videotaping other teams.
I think the Astros banging a garbage can is a little different than a global pandemic.
It's true.
In the excuse game. Yeah.
I get it. Yes, you're right. Astros of 2017, that title definitely has an asterisk next to it. But to your point, fans will jump on this, whether it's a big deal, a little deal, or no deal. They're going to jump on it because they want to discredit a rival.
Oh, well, I'm the king of the asterisk. I could put an asterisk next to anything to fit my argument. I mean, obviously, Hakeem's 2 titles in the 90s, asterisk, no Jordan. Yeah. Kawhi Leonard wins a title with Toronto, asterisk, Kevin Durant hurt. I could go on. I could asterisk anything. It's a unique, annoying quality about me.
You must be really fun at parties. So that's what's going on with Michigan and Jim Harbaugh. The other small detail that's made its way from this story that people are grabbing onto is the person who's at the center of this, who may have been collecting this data, is a former Marine. So now I think everyone's envisioning him like army crawling into the stadium, like sort of covert, like up against a wall, dashing around corners and things like that to try to figure out, what Purdue's offense is calling on the sideline.
But you got to look at a picture of this guy. Connor Stallions is his name.
Yeah.
He has his average Joe quality. He doesn't look like a Connor Stallions, who you'd picture out of the movie Commando or something. Yeah. He looks like he could easily fit in at any sideline.
Well, the cool thing for Connor Stallions is if this whole football coaching thing doesn't work out, there's always porn. Because with a name like that, you're basically tailor-made. So.
I was wondering, wait, what? That's a big leap.
Connor Stallions? You don't think someone in the porn community is
the name.
I could use that.
The name is there. The skills of stealing signs from Purdue is not exactly leading to the adult film industry to me, but...
Listen, this guy's got to have other skills, right? Anyway, so that's what's going on with Michigan. Talking about this weekend, and you're welcome to weigh in, by the way, 855-212-4CBS. You can vote on our poll at Maggie and Pearl. Will this stick to Michigan? Is it going to be a cloud over the season? Perloff says yes. I say no. That's at Maggie and Pearl on Twitter. Now, looking ahead to this weekend in terms of NFL games, Perloff, your team, Philadelphia Eagles, have the game of the weekend, Sunday night. You welcome in the Miami Dolphins.
Sure.
I want to see Miami beat another good defense that's not the Patriots, who have no offense on the other side. Like, I believe that Miami is legit, for real, definitely Super Bowl contender, all the good things and all the praise that's been heaped on Miami. However, I would like to see them play a difficult defense with a quarterback that's not Mac Jones on the other side. So here are the Dolphins' opponents. They beat the Chargers, who look like frauds. They beat New England, but again, that's the one good defense they played and beat.
Who's not good anymore, by the way. They've been
terrible. The defense
terrible.
is still good.
Since Judon went out, they've been one of the worst in the league. But
fair point. We know they walloped Denver 70-20. That one got some headlines.
Terrible.
They lost to the Buffalo Bills, who actually do have a good defense. The New York Giants, they won easily. And Carolina, yes, they got down to a 2-touchdown deficit at first, but that game was never in doubt. They end up winning 42-21. Let's see the good defense and how they can try to stop the Miami Dolphins. The Eagles right now are the 9th best defense in the league.
I will tell you right now that Miami's offense is not going to look like Miami's offense. There's a couple reasons. I mean, I'm going to asterisk this. Have you read about the windstorm coming in the Northeast?
I did read a little bit.
So the day is going to be 25-mile-an-hour winds. They say it's going to calm to 20-mile-an-hour winds at night, which is still huge for a football game. The Eagles will also, they know Miami's explosive, and they have a quarterback who can run. They churn out clock probably better than any team in the league, right? They had a 19-play drive to open the Jets game. So they're going to slow this game down. Now, I would not comfortably pick the Eagles in this game, but don't you think the Eagles have watched the Miami tape and said, we are going to do anything we can to slow this game down? Tyreek Hill's not going to get behind us, and we're going to try and run the ball and eat up the clock. And then, to me, the interesting thing is, can Miami win a dogfight?
Right.
Because that's what the Eagles are going to try and make this do. They're going to try and make it ugly. Because don't you have to win a Super Bowl? I think Miami has to prove they can win with different styles.
That's true.
Every game's not going to be 52-35. So I think this is an interesting test to me. Is Miami going to be able to, very physical Eagles team, if the Eagles make it sort of what's the expression, a fight in a phone booth? How's Miami going to show up in that one? And the Eagles are a little bit down right now, so they have an opportunity. This is a test of toughness to me, not just a test of can this high-flying offense work.
Yeah, you're so right, and I'm curious to see what are the Miami Dolphins like this version in one of these close games, which we assume this is going to be. Now, in terms of like the weather and the wind, I still think you can find a way to make explosive plays because you're so fast on offense. If you're the Dolphins, you can still find a way to make explosive plays even if the wind is a factor, but it's certainly a concern. Yeah. The other thing is Miami can run the ball.
Well, they have the best running game, but Achane's out. That
Yeah,
helps.
but Mostert is very good.
Yeah, but I feel like they lost a little of explosion. Yeah, it didn't matter last week.
Yeah.
But I'm speaking
Again, that was against Carolina.
Obviously, speaking as an Eagles fan here, thank God Devon Achane is not out there, because if you have those two weapons coming at you, it's impossible. I do think the wind will be a factor, because think of Tua's throws.
Yeah,
they're up there in the air. He throws. I'll put a lot of air on it. If I'm a defensive coordinator, I put the safeties way back. Just don't let Tyreek Hill get behind you. How hard is that, Maggie?
Well, I mean, much harder than you're making it out to be. It's not so simple. And then I would say on the flip side, I'm curious a little how Jalen Hurts responds here. I mean, he was the one who had to wear it last week for that loss against the Jets. It was a terrible interception that he threw at the end of the game, cost them the game. And, what does he look like now? Because the Dolphins defense is also good. Now, Jalen Ramsey's not going to be back for this game yet, but he's coming back soon.
Yeah.
But this defense is still very good.
Yeah, and I think there's another storyline, too. The Eagles' pass catchers let Jalen Hurts down. Devontae Smith with an uncharacteristic drop, and he's been hurt. I think you go conservative. You obviously saw that Jets game, and the line in Philadelphia this week is they should have run the ball more. For some reason, Jalen Hurts dropped back to almost every play.
Yep.
Again, I think, 2 years ago, was it 2 years ago? Every Eagles fan said, run the ball, run the ball, run the ball, and they finally listened to it. You're going against this Miami offense. The one thing that can keep an offense limited is to get first downs on offense. So I don't want to see Jalen Hurts throwing like he did against the Jets. I think that would be crazy. The Dolphins, the defense is not great. You saw the Bills just torch them.
Yep.
But to me, it doesn't even matter. Don't score fast. Just slow. Make this a close game.
So you're welcome to weigh in on the Dolphins and the Eagles as well. Again, I want to see the Dolphins beat a good defense here with not Mac Jones as the quarterback on the other side, where you don't have to worry about the Patriots offense. Now,
by the way, the total is 52 for this game.
That's high.
If there really is this win thing that, I know you're going to call me a sad dad for talking about the weather, but I think if you talk about the weather and football gambling, that's just called being an American.
That's true.
I think that seems awfully high, because the Eagles coaching staff's not stupid. They're not going to let this become a track meet.
No, but think about it. I mean, you're talking about Smith and you're talking about A.J. Brown.
Yeah.
Those are guys who benefit from explosive plays too. These aren't exactly, running 5-yard out routes. Like, these guys want to burn you.
Yeah, but I don't want to get in a track meet with the Dolphins. I think that is the key.
You have the weapons.
You have the weapons, but again, like, if you look at Miami, they're the most prolific offense we've seen in a long, long time. Why would you want to race this team? They're the last team you would want to get in a track meet with.
It's a fair point. Can I tell you the one storyline of this game that I'm actually not that interested in, or I feel like I'm being forced to like this conversation?
Is this Taylor Swift coming to see Jason Kelce play? I have no idea where you're going at.
No, I'm also not interested in that. The Jalen Hurts Tua.
Oh, why? That story is awesome.
Okay, I don't think these two guys actually have a rivalry. It seems like this was the one thing about Jalen Hurts. Tua replaces him in the championship game. They go on to win. Jalen stayed at Alabama because he wasn't like, I think that was good character by Jalen Hurts. Like, hey, I'm not going to transfer right away just because you're here. I'm going to still compete for this job. But everything is before he did go to Oklahoma, but everything is telling me these two guys totally respect each other. I don't think it's simmering behind the scenes. I don't think it's like a Brady, Drew Henson thing. Like, I don't think they actually don't like each other. I think they actually like each other.
I thought you were talking about the brotherhood. They're thick as thieves.
That's what I'm saying. I don't think this is not a rivalry.
It's a great story
these two.
that they were so close in Alabama. They were like brothers. They're really, really close.
I think it's being painted as like, ooh, Jalen Hurts against the guy who replaced him.
Oh, no.
I don't see that at all.
I'm seeing much more of, look, these guys were great friends as teammates, and all these pictures of them hugging each other.
I don't think I'm being sold a bill of goods here, right?
Wait, I have not seen. There's supposed to be a rivalry between Tua and Jalen Hurts. I hadn't seen that. I've seen the picture of the Mac Jones, Jalen, and Tua. It was really fun. I don't think Jalen Hurts is a rivalry guy.
And I don't think Tua.
Tua's not either.
Tua's not a little salty though. Like, he started to get a little salty with the media. I like that.
Lately, he's getting edgy.
Yeah.
Talking about the muscles and being defined.
Yeah, right.
Jalen Hurts is I'm going to mind my own business guy. That is his definition. He throws out cliches. If he did dislike anyone, like say Tua, he would never let you know. He does not let you behind the veil at all.
I think it's going to be, I guess maybe the word is like overblown. I don't know. It's like, yeah, they're close. They played in college. I don't know.
I already saw one feature of like the connection between the two. Like they're strong. There's a strong bond there. No, there's no rivalry. There's definitely not a rivalry. And I think the storyline, it's Sunday Night Football. They're going to play up. This is one of the great offenses we've ever seen. I think the Eagles may be the defending NFC champions. To me, this game is about Miami's offense. Just like you said, I think Sunday Night Football is going to jump on that bandwagon and run with it.
Jalen Hurts has thrown more interceptions so far this year than he did all of last season. Can Miami bait him into a couple more this weekend?
Oh, come on. He threw 2 interceptions in a game they were winning by 30 against Tampa Bay. There's one game.
But the stat is true.
There's been one game where he threw interceptions.
Okay, but it's not just one game because he has 7 so far on the season.
Right, but I'm saying like none of them have made the slightest bit of difference this year until the Jets game. And one of those, Dallas Goedert caught the ball, made a football move, and fumbled. I don't think Jalen Hurts' interceptions is a big concern, as long as he's not playing the Jets.
That's what we said last year about Dak Prescott's interceptions. And
they were not. None of those were his fault.
Well, it became a big storyline. You
Because
can't say none of them were his fault.
Yeah, it became a big storyline, and then everyone sort of came back and said, oh, wait a second. What was actually going on here with Dak?
No, it was such a big storyline that there was a fake quote attributed to him at the beginning of this season. Remember where there was a fake quote going around that Dak said he only wanted to throw 10 interceptions when he actually said, I want to limit my interceptions or something. And that made its way. These kinds of things get out of hand.
I think it's really frustrating that people don't talk about what causes an interception. I think the stat is so misleading. If a wide receiver runs the wrong route and the quarterback throws it there,
right.
Why is the quarterback getting all the heat? If the wide receiver drops a pass and it lands in the quarterback's hand,
right.
I think it's one of the most misleading stats in football.
Okay, well, are we talking about Derek Carr's interception from last night? No, we're not, because we all watched and saw what that was. It was a deflection. I mean, you could say Derek Carr was late on the throw.
No. That was on Carr.
Okay, so Carr was late on the throw. It ends up getting deflected.
3 guys.
It ends up getting deflected, though, and it gets, in the air, and then it's caught by the Saints or the Jags defender, right? It wasn't, he threw it into center field and the guy was there just picking it off.
I thought that was the 30th terrible pass I saw by Derek Carr last night. I mean, what was happening on third down? He couldn't hit a guy who was 4 feet in front of him.
My point is that for every interception that's not the quarterback's fault, there is likely a bad pass that a quarterback threw in a game where the wide receiver either helped him out by his own guy by batting the pass down or turning into a cornerback and kind of playing defense on a bad pass, or where a wide receiver bailed out a quarterback but who made a bad pass and it should have been picked off and it wasn't.
I actually don't agree. I know what you're saying. That makes perfect sense. I think PFF does it well. They have a stat, interceptable balls, and it's way different than who turns out.
Turnover-worthy plays, right?
Listen, there's controversy around Denver and Jerry Jeudy right now, the wide receiver, first-round pick. They're going back and forth. That guy's had more interceptions in front of him than any wide receiver in the history of the NFL. It can't be a coincidence, Maggie. I just think these are more team stats. This is such a irrelevant argument to anything, but honestly, Jalen Hurts is fine. You got my Eagles fandom up there. Jalen Hurts, 3 picks against the Jets. That was bad. The Jets are good. He's not going to throw 3 picks on Sunday night.
855-212-4CBS, 855-212-4227. Coming up, it was a cringeworthy moment that we all watched. What was it like to be living that moment? Turns out very cringeworthy. Get to that in just moments. Maggie, Perloff, and you. CBS Sports Radio.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. 1 minute remaining. $45 seconds remaining. $30 seconds remaining. $15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Welcome back to Maggie and Perloff. So, as a kid, I was an all-world backyard football player. I was dominant. You could throw a fade to me anywhere in the end zone. I modeled myself after former Eagles wide receiver Harold Carmichael, who was 6'8", and his only play was run out and just jump over everybody. Incredible.
Wait, do we have any evidence of this? We're taking your word at it?
Well, this was until I was about 9.
Oh.
So I don't think, I'm not bragging too much. Then everyone got taller, and I stayed about 6 foot tall and 100 pounds. So
Okay.
I wasn't really cut out for football. But I could have been a great flag football player, Maggie. And now flag football and 7-on-7 is taking over the world. I feel like I missed my opportunity there because the physicality of the sport was my problem, not the being able to catch a football.
Well, I'm glad. Thank you for that trip down memory lane. I don't know what we would have done without it. But yes, flag football is now going to be at the Olympics in Los Angeles in 2028. So Tyreek Hill is the number one person you would think of. Feel like, all right, who should be on the Team USA flag football team? Like Tyreek Hill is the biggest no-brainer. However, now I'm thinking about it. It's the year 2023. This is until 2028. How fast is Tyreek Hill going to be in 2028? Probably still faster than most people on Earth, but is he still going to have that same elusiveness in 2028?
Yeah, I guess, are we going to do a team for 2028 or for now?
I guess if we're going to pick a flag football team, our own like fantasy flag football team, we'd probably have to do it for now.
Yeah.
This would be 5-on-5, basically. So you need a quarterback and 4 receivers.
Yeah, so, okay. So,
Who
do
do
you
you have?
need cornerback? So do you need like defensive guys for that?
Let's do the offensive side.
Okay.
That's a little bit more fun.
Well, because my first player is Travis Hunter. He's the greatest 7-on-7 football player of all time.
Oh, we can go to college for this?
Why not? It's the American team. Travis Hunter is ready to compete at this. He might not be physical enough for the NFL right now, but he's so fast on both sides of the ball. I still want him on my 5-on-5 team. I think he's 21 now. He's totally ready for this. Travis Hunter is my first pick, and he's supposed to be the greatest 7-on-7 player that anyone's ever seen.
Wow. Okay. Well, I wasn't thinking about college players in this because I'd probably want a little Marvin Harrison Jr. or something like that.
That'd be great.
Yeah.
Why? Actually, do we know that Marvin Harrison? Yeah, maybe.
See, I feel like college players, you'd probably, if the NFL players really want to do this, once you go with the guys who are 100% established, you know they can play on the highest level.
Yeah, but it's much more speed oriented. So you're gonna definitely go young. I think you lose a step as you go later. Okay, well, you give me a player and I'll go next.
Okay, I want Terry McLaurin. Give me Terry McLaurin, somebody who has been a great wide receiver. And I'm telling you guys, this dude does this with no quarterbacks. Who have been his quarterbacks in Washington, D.C.? And he still puts up monster numbers. He has lots of speed, elusiveness. I want Terry McLaurin on my team.
Okay, I'm going with DK Metcalf. Just because it's an Olympic team, I want him to be like Charles Barkley in the Dream Team. He's just going to shove guys on the other team and just. First of all, DK Metcalf gets off the bus. The game is already over.
He's too big of a target, though, isn't he? For flag, you're not trying to get him to the ground. You just need to get a flag off his belt.
I know he's not as young as. There's no one faster going on a fly route. I mean, he is faster than everybody, and it's just cool to have DK Metcalf on your team. All right, who do you got?
I would give me a little Amon-Ra St. Brown. Dude's always open. I know Perloff will say he's the system. I don't think that's true. I think Amon-Ra St. Brown is someone who would probably lead the team in catches.
Oh, definitely. But that's funny because I was thinking the same way. My next guy is Cooper Kupp. Same exact reason. He's going to work underneath. Nobody gets out of a cut better than Cooper Kupp, although Amon-Ra St. Brown's catching up on him. He's very good at that, too.
My next one, Justin Jefferson. Gotta happen. Gotta be. Love a Justin Jefferson. I mean, how is the USA not going to win this?
It's going to be tough.
Who is going to possibly hang with this team?
Okay. My next pick, this is my last pick, I guess. Devontae Smith, the Slim Reaper, because it's flag football, so you don't want a big target.
I like that.
And Devontae Smith he's so thin, he can just sort of cut through holes. You're not going to be able to get his flag.
Okay, so we need quarterbacks now.
Yeah.
Because I'm assuming we're both putting Tyreek Hill on our roster.
Okay, yeah,
That's
we'll give
the fourth
Tyreek
guy.
Hill. Okay.
Like, no brainer. Who's your QB?
Kirk Cousins. Nobody throws a more catchable pass.
Kirk Cousins is going to
Nobody. He gets air underneath it.
Including the
You think
defense.
it's an accident that Justin Jefferson has 2,000 yards? Nobody throws a more catchable ball. He's the new Eli Manning. So much air under it. Those guys are just going to run under Kirk Cousins' passes all day long.
But think about it. If Eli Manning was still in the league, there's no way we'd be sending Eli Manning as our number one quarterback.
They should. Nobody loves receivers. Profited off of Eli Manning so much. Remember all those terrible Giants receivers who'd get 1,500 yards? Because Eli, you never know who's going to catch it, the cornerback, the wide receiver, but he gives everybody a chance.
I mean,
Cousins is a yardage machine. Who's yours?
I mean, now you have me rethinking. I was going to do Patrick Mahomes.
But you're not going to need to do all the Patrick Mahomes spinning backwards, creating plays, running.
He also has a very catchable ball. Who are some, besides Kelsey and when he had Tyreek Hill, who are some of these other guys who are catching passes in the Super Bowl?
Well, my point is, in flag football, you're gutting the athletic quarterback. You do not need an athletic quarterback because you're just sitting back there with no pass rush.
But doesn't somebody count to 7 and then they come get you? Then you got to be elusive.
Do they end the play?
I think they end the play.
Yeah, I think they end the play after a certain number of seconds.
Oh, I got to.
And that's a quote unquote sack. Like if you get to a guy after, I think it's like 5.5 seconds.
So they're all coverage sacks?
No, but here's the thing: you can try to elude the guy. I think that's true.
Well, either way, Kirk is just going to throw for 5,200 yards per season here. His numbers are going to be fantastic.
Okay,
and we can win this anyway. I feel like we don't need Mahomes.
Here's the other thing that this is, you know what this is going to export to the world? It's not going to be football, maybe, or, the NFL stars and make them bigger stars maybe on the global stage. This is going to show the world how bad the officiating is in the NFL. There's going to be some terrible calls somehow here, and people are going to be like, oh my gosh, this officiating stinks.
How do you not... Flag football, are there a lot of calls in flag football? What are the penalties in flag football?
I guarantee, the sacks, you have to time it out, and, someone has to be there getting to the quarterback and timing this whole thing. I'm telling you, we are going to export bad officiating.
Well, I feel, though, you're not going to have all the pre-snap penalties and all the things that confuse international fans. I would imagine...
Ineligible man downfield?
Yeah, I would hope that it'd be a simpler sport. That you wouldn't have to deal with all this garbage that ruins every NFL game.
But I don't think we're going to send Cleet Blakeman to these games. There are already flag football officials, because I think this is, to me, one of the interesting side stories here. I'm waiting for the sympathy pieces. As the NFL pushes all these guys and they want to do it, there are pre-existing flag football stars, air quotes, who are going to not make the Olympics now because we're going to throw Tyreek Hill. We're not starting from scratch.
Wait, there's a flag football league?
People already play flag football, especially women flag football, but people already are playing flag football in some fancy organized way, and now we're going to be like, oh, never mind, we're going to send Kirk Cousins to spook the German team in L.A.
I know, but bogus, this is going to happen.
Oh, of course
every
it is.
time.
And then someone's going to do stories on these people who spent their lives playing flag football and don't get to be in the Olympics because Kirk Cousins is there.
Because Tyreek Hill needs something else.
Right.
He doesn't have enough, being a famous football star.
I don't know about it's not like softball or Frisbee golf. I don't know I've ever seen a professional flag football
I don't
league.
know that they're professional,
Are there
but
stars out there?
But there's already like existing flag football organizations that like already play flag football.
We can't
and now
send
we're
Hal
stealing
from
their sport from them.
We can't send Hal from the park to
But
the
you want to
Olympics.
send Jimmy Two Beats to breakdance? Why can't Hal from the park go play flag football? It's his thing.
I don't know. That's like when we were kids. The Olympics were all amateurs, and you didn't know any of these people. If you can send pros, why not send pros?
I'm not saying that we shouldn't do it, but there are people who are going to lose when Kirk Cousins goes to LA.
Also, Kirk Cousins, I mean, we're doing it as if the Olympics would be now.
Right. Yeah,
Kirk Cousins in the year 2028 is not going to be on this team.
Ooh, he's going to coach it and use all of these hokey, cheesy motivational lines.
Wearing khaki shorts.
Yes.
It's going to be
Polo
Shador
tucked in.
Sanders.
Cole's cash.
Shador Sanders to Travis Hunter is going to be our main connection. Because someone's got to defend these guys, too. He's the perfect player. He's the star of the Olympic team.
YouTube.com/CBS Sports Radio is where you can watch the show. Titan fan says flag football sounds cool and all until Achilles and hamstrings start popping.
Yeah, that's the other thing.
I wouldn't want anyone on one of my favorite teams. If I'm a Super Bowl contender, I think I am. I don't want anyone playing in the Olympics.
I don't even want my NBA guys over there if it's my team. I would rather.
Forget your hopes and dreams. We
Yeah,
got
I'd like to see
week 8 against the Carolina Panthers coming up.
Yeah, I do not want to see Joel
Gold
Embiid.
schmold.
If Embiid tears his Achilles in the Olympics or something, I will be very upset.
Well,
You're right.
Like, it's not enough that you're already rich as all get out. Like you're rich, you're famous, you're at the top of your profession. Like you need a gold medal on top of it to prove what? To who? Because you could beat Ghana in flag football? Like what kind of a
The commercial's on right now for the intense flag football people.
Oh my gosh.
They are
like
ready.
speed
They are
walkers,
ready to roll, and you're putting Kirk Cousins. Look at their guys. That guy's holding an American flag, and you're going to deny him the Olympics where Kirk Cousins
By
can
the way,
go.
America could definitely win with a college team, too. I mean, you think Germany can cover Keon Coleman or Marvin Harrison Jr. or any of these guys? There's no way. I mean, you're right. They're probably not going to send the pros because the teams are going to be upset.
I mean, of course, and they would have every right to be. This used to happen all the time when Mark Cuban used to hate that Dirk Nowitzki would play for the German national team. He's like, you're our whole team. If something happens to you over there, first of all, you're not winning a gold medal. I know the German team just won over the summer, but at that time, you're not winning the gold medal. So Dirk's going over there to do what exactly?
Yeah, I think he was mad when Dirk would go for like qualifying events in the summer and play like in Liechtenstein against like tiny. He's like, let somebody else do that part of it at least. I'm telling you, man, there's a whole bunch of victims just waiting to lose their spots to Kirk Cousins.
I'll tell you one more. I bet you American high school players would destroy the international competition. Dude, you don't need size for this. You just need to be fast. Yeah, I think we're going to get the gold guys.
You think?
I think we look good in this one.
Or the odds should be like minus 10,000 for us to get a gold medal. Anyway, Bogusch has some headlines.
Yes, I do. Where are they? Here they are. No, there they are. 4 quarters of Jaguars Saints was enough. So thank you, Foster Moreau, for this.
30 seconds. 3rd and goal. Carr to throw. Does throw to the end zone, and that is incomplete. Right through the hands of Foster Moreau. Got 2 hands on it in the far corner of the end zone, but could not bring it in.
Mike Haas on Saints Radio, the New Orleans tight end, whiffing on what could have been the tying touchdown in the final half minute of Thursday Night Football. Another Derek Carr incompletion on 4th down gave the Jaguars a 31-24 win after blowing a 15-point fourth quarter lead. The decisive points came off a simple throw from Trevor Lawrence to Christian Kirk.
When I threw it, I thought it was going to be, maybe a 10-yard gain. I knew he had 20 on the angle, but then he took it all. He took it to the house. So that was a great play by him to finish it and see that opportunity and go get it.
It was
Is he in witness protection? Why does this sound like this? It's like, is this someone who is shadow, like when they're doing a whistleblower? Like,
it's the teacher from the Peanuts. Wah, 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 wah.
Like the whistleblowers on 60 Minutes.
Yeah, he's in the shadows.
Yeah, calling out the tobacco industry, and so they have to blur out his face and his voice.
It was a 44-yard touchdown. Now the Jags have won 4 in a row. They're 5-2 overall. Lawrence throwing for 204 yards and was their leading rusher with 59 yards. There being a game-time decision with that left knee injury. I believe Andrew Heaney is the first Ranger starter to not survive the first inning of a postseason start. He got 2 outs, was charged with 3 runs on 4 hits and a walk last night.
Just ended up throwing a lot of balls right down the middle, and that's not a recipe for success.
How's your Creed now? Where's Creed to save you with your pump-up music?
His offense did erase that early hole in the bottom of the third, but then Houston got a sac fly from Yordan Alvarez and a 3-run homer from Jose Abreu in the top of the fourth, cruising to a 10-3 win, leveling the ALCS through 4 games, all won by the road team. The home team yet to lose in the NLCS. The D-backs took a thrilling Game 3 from the Phillies, 2-1 on Ketel Marte's RBI single, bottom 9. His manager, Torey...
Ketel thrives in that situation. He just has a heart of a lion. He wants to get the job done and be the main guy to help his team win a baseball game.
Game 5 in the AL is first today at 4 Central. Game 4 in Arizona starts 3 hours later. College football still focused on the sign-stealing allegations against Michigan. Specifically, the Wolverines might have sent a staff member to watch future opponents and crack their codes, and that staff member might be Connor Stallions, who technically works in the Wolverines recruiting department. The alleged system might have gone back as far as 2021. The Minnesota Timberwolves finishing off a perfect 5-game preseason slate last night with a 114-105 win in Chicago. Anthony Edwards scored 19. Connor Bedard and all his Chicago teammates held scoreless last night, losing in Colorado 4-0. The Kraken got their first win on their 5th try, 7-4 over Carolina. And at least the Flyers won yesterday, 3-1 over the Oilers, who are off to a 1-3 start. And the WNBA has fined the Liberty $25,000 because multiple players refused to speak with reporters after losing the finals 2 nights ago. The 3 players, Sabrina Ionescu, Jonquel Jones, and Benijah Laney, each docked $2,000 for that. Guys,
wait, they wouldn't talk to the press after winning the title?
No, losing.
Oh, losing.
Yeah.
Even that. It's the end of the season. That seems a little extreme. Is that... I can't remember that usually happening.
They find the Liberty and the players, too. That's a little
Yes, because the Liberty let them not do it.
Right.
Yeah, to be
Find
honest,
one of them.
I actually, listen, I think you got to stand out there when you lose.
Yes.
And
yeah,
that's professional sports. Like college maybe is a little bit different, but professional sports, you would have loved it and you would have been swimming in the confetti if you won. You lost, you got to stand out there and answer questions.
And is it Brenda Barker that writes for Newsday here in New York? I can't remember her. She was the one that put this out into the world. Was that Tuesday night that they asked for Liberty players? A coach and 2 players went to the press conference room, and then you're allowed to request other players. And she put it out there that the Liberty said no. And in following up tweets, she said, the problem is, I just got Newsday to spend thousands of dollars to send me back and forth to Brooklyn and Vegas, airplanes, hotels, to cover this league, which is begging for attention that they deserve. And then they don't give me people that I could have stayed at home and written off the TV. How am I going to cover this moving forward? And that's why it's a problem and why it had to be addressed.
Yeah, especially if you're Sabrina Ionescu. I mean, and Jonquel Jones. I mean, these are women who are very high profile in the sport. And listen, I hate to pile on because I always hate to pile on an athlete in like their lowest moment. You know, you just lost the title. I'm sure it's very difficult, but that's being a professional athlete.
I can't even. I've never ever heard of a Super Bowl losing team. Have you ever seen someone not go to the podium? Has that ever happened in the history of the NFL? That's the season's over. What do you have to lose at that point?
Yeah. I think the locker room, though, in most ways is just open. So you go in, but it's not in the WNBA. So you have to ask for someone to come out to talk to you. And that's what allows them to say no.
Oh, okay. But after the title, I would assume it's just assumed that everybody talks.
Yeah. Although Acuna did leave right after the Braves were eliminated. He just left and didn't talk to anybody. But I don't think he got in trouble for that. So maybe MLB has different
But
rules.
for the World Series, though, he would have.
You know who actually left without talking to anyone after they lost the Super Bowl? Marshawn Lynch. Malcolm Butler at the goal line.
Right. Really?
Yes, because I was just listening to an interview with him on Shannon Sharp's podcast where he talks about he left before the game was over. And he's walking through the tunnel and he saw, who was the random celebrity that he saw? And the guy goes, wait, aren't you supposed to be back out on the field? It was like Enrique Iglesias or something.
So he didn't go to that little podium? I've never, ever seen that. Wow.
Yeah.
What did Cam Newton do?
He went, but he walked out.
But he did not answer, did not give real answers. I remember being
he was
upset the way he behaved.
The whole time.
Is that what it was? Okay.
By the way, Anthony Edwards, I'm on that bandwagon. You guys see that dunk T-Wolf star last night? He actually has the power of flight, which is interesting. There's a human being.
Can he play flag football?
He's getting to be my new Vince Carter. I can't believe he hasn't broken out as like a huge international star yet. What's the deal here?
Well, he was in Hustle, the same movie you were in, the Adam Sandler movie, and he was excellent in it.
He was a great actor. I think he's probably the second or third most exciting player in the league right now. I think it's going to be the year of the Ant-Man.
Sorry, Bogus. I think there's some, we say like you can play anywhere, like John Moran is a huge star in Memphis, and OKC had all those stars, but there is something maybe about the Timberwolves specifically.
It's kind of like the Wizards. Like Washington's a big market, but it's hard to be a star on the Wizards.
Maybe that's why, because like you were mentioning that the Timberwolves went perfect in preseason, and I just had to look up. I'm like, remember when the Detroit Lions went perfect in the 2008 preseason, then didn't win a game the rest of the season? I know that's not going to happen to the Timberwolves. But
I remember a few years ago, the Timberwolves won the Summer League, and we were making fun. They were celebrating because they won the Summer League. That's going to be like that in-season tournament. The T-Wolves will probably be really competitive in that.
The same with Patrick Beverly. Wasn't he playing for the T-Wolves, and they won the play-in game, and they were celebrating?
Oh, right. Yeah.
Was that for the T-Wolves, or was it against the T-Wolves? Now I don't remember.
I can't remember. Beverly's played for every team, so
for
it's hard
every
to
team,
tell.
so I have no idea. But he celebrated like they just won the title, and everyone else in the league made fun of them.
The NBA is going to need a new star. We all realize that because LeBron has got to be in the end. I think it could have been Anthony. I think it's going to be Wemby. I'm so nervous. You were tweeting me again. Oh, no. Mike Sampter, our former producer, sent me a long clip of Wemby last night. Like, this is happening. What is going on here? The dude's 7'4". Why could he dribble like he's John Morant?
He dribbled through somebody's legs the other night.
Yeah, he nutmegged that guy. Well, it's just funny that everyone, you can't say, how is Wemby doing this? I'm so surprised when every news outlet
alerted me to him.
sent someone to freaking Paris. So that
I chose to ignore all that.
Yeah. He's new. It was months and months of buildup, and then Perloff's like, if he wins Rookie of the Year, I'll drive to San Antonio. And turns out, you better get a tune-up on your car.
I don't know. I was in Philadelphia when they drafted Sean Bradley, who was 7'6", and he was going to redefine the game, and he stunk. I assumed that was Victor Wembanyama, and it clearly is not.
Did you see them send Brian Windhorst to go interview Sean Bradley? No, they didn't.
Dan Patrick went to Australia to go to Sean Bradley's mission. Yes, it was the same exact thing, and he stunk. It was 93, I think it was the draft. Yeah,
wow, I was 10.
Very young, yeah.
It's a cool trip, though.
Yeah, no, that was a junket, clearly. It was a brilliant idea by Dan. He's like, yeah, Sean Bradley's going number 2. We got to get over there. Yeah, right. Yeah, right, mate.
And a free trip to Australia. Bogish, thank you so much. 855-212-4CBS is how you can get in touch with the show. Do want to let you know, top of the hour, celebrity NFL game picker is going to be with us. Bogish just had to take a big inhale and exhale because I think you're remembering some of the love scenes that this actor has been in. Pretty steamy.
This is a doozy. I don't know your whole roster of who's done these picks for you, but this is pretty high end.
Well, I'm going to say I don't think Robert Wool, a.k.a. Arliss, was ever in a love scene like our guest.
Thank goodness.
Like our guest coming up at the top of the hour, which left quite an impression on young Maggie. He will join us top of the hour.
I know he's in a movie with a love scene, but as I recall, he was not in the important love scene in said movie.
Perloff knows.
Yeah, every guy knows.
Close enough.
The defining love scene of all of us teenage years.
I know.
Ooh, that's incorrect.
I believe Felipe was not in the scene, as I recall.
You just gave it away.
Oh, my God.
Come on.
Perloff.
Dump it.
Do you even do this for a living? Oh, my goodness.
Carlos, you're with me, though.
All right. Well, we were going to build it up a little more, but it's going to happen in 15 minutes anyway. Award-winning actor Ryan Phillippe is going to join us at the top of the hour.
Not in studio, though, right?
He's going to be on Zoom.
Okay.
So you can watch youtube.com/CBS Sports Radio.
Bogus is fangirling even more than you.
I got a lot of questions that have nothing to do with fantasy football. We're picking games.
All right. 855-212-4CBS. Maggie and Perloff. Coming up next, we do have the cringeworthy moment that we thought was cringeworthy. To the person who lived it, it was even worse. So we'll get to that in just seconds. Don't move. Maggie and Perloff, CBS Sports Radio.
You're in a 5-minute break. 4 minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Forty-five seconds remaining. Thirty seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Felt like this was morning music. Welcome to Maggie and Perloff. Maggie Gray, Andrew Perloff. Noriega. Reminds me of high school. Okay. There was a moment. It was incredibly cringeworthy, and if you're a follower of the NFL, you were likely watching it. And that was Taylor Swift yet again showing up to another Chiefs game because that's what she does. She was at Arrowhead, and the camera caught her having a conversation with Travis Kelce's dad.
Oh.
And just like America wept. Like, even if you don't like Taylor Swift or you think this is overblown or too much, like, everyone can sympathize with like seeing your boyfriend or girlfriend trapped in a conversation with one of your parents. So Travis Kelce thankfully has a podcast where he talks about this kind of thing. Here's what it was like to watch his dad, Ed Kelce, chatting up Taylor.
If you were watching the game, you saw something momentous happen.
Momentous.
Which was Taylor Swift talking to Ed Kelce.
Yeah, Taylor talking to Dad. You already know. You know Dad like I know Dad.
Which is, he shouldn't be talking to Taylor Swift.
This is a terrifying conversation. I felt terrible. I felt terrible for Taylor for being in this.
Talking to Mom. All right, that's going to be fine.
Delightful. Yeah. It's going to be a wonderful conversation.
If you see Dad talking to anybody and you can't hear what's happening, who knows where that conversation's going?
We can't keep kicking Dad just because we enjoy doing it, man. Our dad is the best dad in the world.
He is.
Oh, man. So relatable. It's like, what are they talking about? And you can tell from the body language, Taylor was definitely doing the fake laugh. Like,
oh, so awkward.
It could have been any topic. I think he was probably talking about some kind of like home improvement project that he's working on. Like,
then, Taylor could relate to that.
Yeah, it's like, and then the possums got into
the birdhouse that he tried to build.
Or just like, and then the infestation of chipmunks got into the basement, and then, you know.
Yeah, I can't handle the awkwardness. I don't think the Donna Kelce thing makes any sense either. What do they talk about? Like, how can Taylor Swift relate to Donna Kelce?
No, but I think there is something about just two women talking to each other.
They can fake it and make it through there.
I kind of like two guys. You know, you're gonna find something you can both find interesting: fantasy football, sports, traffic, weather. What do you guys talk about? So. Women, you'll always be able to find some kind of common ground. It's just the girlfriend and the dad leads to a lot of awkward.
Oh, man. If it was a guy with that dad, they could talk about the backup on 95 for about 15 minutes and the parking lot situation. Like, Taylor doesn't know about all that stuff.
No.
She's never really she takes a helicopter, I'm sure.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that's the one thing. She's not living a quote-unquote normal life being as famous as she is.
Well, let me ask you. You have conversations with your father-in-law. Are they normally as smooth as they are with your mother-in-law?
Definitely not. But like Travis Kelce, I love my father-in-law. I think he's the best, and I would, fight to the death for him.
Well, what do you guys talk about?
I don't know. He's not that. He's a pretty big sports fan, actually. So usually sports. My in-laws did a very nice thing when I first met them. My very first introduction when I was just dating my husband. We met in Philadelphia. I took the bus down from New York and went in Philly, and they had bought tickets to like a mid-level college basketball game.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, we went to go see like Temple versus Xavier or something.
Wow, that's very judgmental for you to call that
mid-major.
mid-level.
Listen, I went to an A-10 school. I can say it's a mid-major basketball game.
I mean, Temple's been top 5 many times in my lifetime, but go ahead.
Yes.
And Xavier has been awesome, but
I don't remember if it was actually Xavier. It might have been Duquesne. I can't remember
that's
exactly
mid-level.
who it was.
That is as mid-level as you get.
It was. So I appreciate they're always meeting me at my level because my in-laws are very academic and super smart, and I'm like the slobbering dog in the family.
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, listen, it's easy to be a guy coming into a family because it's all sports all the time.
Yeah.
That's all you have to talk about.
There you go.
The reason I do this job, it's the only thing that men know how to talk about.
This is what you talk about with your father-in-law?
What's the B topic for us men? I have no idea. Emotions?
No clue.
Emotions, yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah.
No, it's definitely weather.
Weather
would be the second thing. I think it's about like prepping for weather. It's like, yeah, we got a thing coming. It's like, yeah, then I got to get all the furniture inside.
I saw this great viral video. It's a comedian who's talking about his best friend got divorced and he went out golfing with him. And his wife, he gets home, his wife goes, so how's Bill doing? Is he dating anyone? And the guy goes, I have no idea. We were playing golf. He's like, you didn't ask him if he's dating anyone? Why would I ask him that? Men have no idea. We don't care about anything except sports.
Coming up, actor, director, producer who also cares very much about sports. Ryan Phillippe is going to join us to pick NFL games. Don't move. Maggie and Perloff, CBS Sports Radio.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Forty-five seconds remaining. Thirty seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Oh, that's another one.
She once fell off a ski lift. He was called in for questioning. They are Maggie and Perloff on CBS Sports Radio.
Hey, welcome into the show. Maggie Gray, Andrew Perloff on this Friday. So glad to have you on CBS Sports Radio. We are the new morning show on CBS Sports Radio. Got a big scandal going on right now with the University of Michigan, accused of sign stealing, Perloff, but not like in the baseball sense. This was sending a staff member to future opponents to try to scout them and steal their signs. That's been a no-no since the 90s.
Yeah, is that bad? I think this is such a minor infraction that's going to blow up in such a huge thing because this is Michigan's year. I mean, it's like the Red Sea's parted for Michigan to win the title finally, and it's going to have this cloud over it. And whether it deserves to be there or not, Maggie, I think it's going to be there.
Okay, you can go to @Maggie and Pearl on Twitter. You can vote on our poll, which is this scandal going to stick and be a cloud over Michigan this year? Okay, on Fridays, we welcome celebrities to the show to pick NFL games for us. And right now, we are so pleased to welcome in an actor, a director, a producer, and a diehard sports fan, especially Philadelphia. Ryan Phillippe, good enough to join us. Good morning, Ryan. How are you?
I am doing well in spite of the loss last night. That's why I went with the black hat instead of the red because I'm in mourning. But yeah, I'm doing great. How are you guys?
Ryan, you got to understand, I'm a diehard Philadelphia fan like you. I cried when they won the Super Bowl. I called my dad from the field. Maggie's a Bills fan. She doesn't understand what this is like to be on a sports high. So you got to, be empathetic toward her. She doesn't know what it's like to win all the time.
Yeah, I will. I mean, it is a great time in Philly sports right now. I mean, it's a great time in sports in general. I think this month is really the optimal sports fans month in a lot of ways. But we're feeling good in Philadelphia, and in spite of last night's loss, I still believe we're going to pull it out. And it was a classic pitcher's duel last night. It was really. Our bats have been so hot, and for the first game in these playoffs, they weren't. But I think that's going to be corrected tonight, hopefully.
Man, if you follow Ryan Phillippe on Twitter, you would think you were a beat reporter. Like you are doing a live play-by-play of every single Philadelphia sports moment. You also got a big football game coming up against the Dolphins. We're going to get your pick for that in a little bit. But, I'm curious, when you're an actor who is watching sports as much as you do, you are subjected to so many commercials where athletes are acting or attempting to act. Like, is this cringeworthy when you're like, oh my gosh, another Mahomes and Kelsey, terrible insurance commercial?
I just find myself calculating how much money they're making and also thinking, how much money do they need? I mean, they have insane contracts already. Sports guys have always been in commercials, right? But the proliferation of celebrities in commercials in general, like even from my industry, is really insane. I mean, growing up, it used to be taboo. You were a sellout if you were an actor, and every single commercial has an A-list actor or athlete. And good for them, I guess.
What did you happen to watch? I know you've hosted SNL. Did you happen to watch Travis Kelce? By the way, I claim Travis Kelce as a Philadelphia athlete now because he hangs out in Philadelphia all the time. We got Jason, but he seems like he's a pretty funny guy, a decent actor.
Yeah, he does. And, he's got the personality for it. I mean, didn't he have his own dating show at one point? The guy obviously loves the limelight. He thrives in it. But I personally think we have the better Kelce. Brother.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, Ryan Phillippe is joining us. He's our celebrity guest NFL picker today. We were just playing right before you jumped on the Zoom. We were playing Travis talking about his dad talking to Taylor Swift and this cringeworthy moment where you're watching your girlfriend talk to your dad. Like, I'm sure this has happened to you before. It's happened to everybody. Do you remember what this was like?
I mean, it's a nightmare scenario. I think for most of us, my dad's pretty genial and knows how to behave himself. So I'm lucky in that respect. He's also a massive sports fan, and that's a major point of connection between him and I. Texting throughout every Phillies game, every Eagles game. So I would hope he would stick to those subjects.
Yeah, my wife's father is a Red Sox fan, and That's always the in with two guys. I mean, when you meet, say someone on set or just anyone, I was telling Maggie, I think sports is always the first go-to conversation, at least for me.
In a lot of ways, and these days it's the safest. It's
Great
like
point.
There's so many topics that you want to stay away from, and people have divided opinions on, and sports is sort of a common ground. I remember when I was doing the series Shooter with Omar Epps, we would, he's a huge Dallas Cowboys fan, and we obviously are not. And so that was a big point of fun sort of, contention between us during the season. And yeah, I mean, there's a lot of people in my industry that are massive fans. Well, I went to the Super Bowl last year in Kansas City, and, obviously Paul Rudd and various others are Chiefs fans and people that and, so it's a fun, like I said, it's light opposition to have with another person, right?
I would think that's funny if it's like the director's like, we're going to need a lot of tension in this scene. It's like, don't worry, we've been talking about the Cowboys secondary against my wide receivers. I don't have to act here. I don't have to fake this. Ryan Phillippe is our guest. He's going to pick some NFL games for us in just a moment. Ryan, as looking back over in your career has been incredible. Some of our favorite movies. I mean, you're still working all the time. You've kept up this incredible career.
Well, not right now because we're on strike.
I know.
Really.
And all of us on the outside really want this to get worked out like as soon as possible because we miss all this entertainment. But when's the first time your kids started watching your movies? Because you have a couple really steamy sex scenes in some of your movies. Like, when did your children become aware of this?
Yeah, I mean, my kids are smart enough to avoid those projects. Their mother, two of my three kids, their mother is Reese Witherspoon, who's got massive career as well. And I think it was always weird for them. What I noticed when they were very small and we all lived in Los Angeles was, when their mother or I would be on billboards on the way to school. Or bus stop posters. And I would always think, I grew up lower middle class, regular life. I always used to think how strange and out of body that must be, or, disorienting for them in some ways. But the opposite is actually true because when you grow up in and around it, that's your normal, it's, I remember trying, one of the few movies I have that is like, okay for kids to see was a movie I did called White Squall with Ridley Scott, Jeff Bridges. Ridley Scott was the director. It was a movie with Jeff Bridges. And in that movie, my character, who's only 16, dies, and my kids couldn't watch it. They were, there's a part where the ship is sinking and my character, and they made me turn it off. So I guess I think it's got to be odd for them. But again, like I said, they've kind of grown up in it, and there's a certain sense of normalcy to it all.
Ryan Phillippe is joining us. That's something that I've heard from athletes and athletes I've worked for in the past. Like, okay, I grew up with not a lot of money, and now my kids are growing up with their father as a famous professional athlete who's got all this money. Like, they try to do things to keep their kids grounded. Did you find you had to do that?
Oh, very much so. Yeah, because a lot of those kids they're surrounded by and they went to school with certainly weren't, in my opinion, and also in their opinions. I mean, I would do things extreme enough as to take them down to Skid Row in Los Angeles to see the way some people live and to see the struggle. And I think that both Reese and I have very sort of down-to-earth sensibilities and would want our kids to be conscientious and in touch with humanity in those regards. So we made a point of illustrating those things.
Yeah, what about sports humility? I mean, it's tough as a Philadelphia fan right now because, Ryan, you're like me. We went through some bad years.
Absolute hell. You know, when the Eagles, I'm 49 now. When the Eagles won in 2017, I was 42. I mean, I had to wait that long for a Super Bowl. My son was born in 2003, which was, the year we went and lost to the Patriots. But all he knows is the Eagles as a successful franchise, really, and there was a point in time when, he was born in LA. I'm like, you don't have to be a fan of this. I gave him the out. I really did. But he's a diehard Eagles fan, Sixers, Phillies. But yeah, it's our fortunes have really improved that's a testament, I think, to ownership, and to organization. I think, the Eagles are one of the top organizations in the NFL, and it's proven by their success record the last decade plus. And Phillies now with Middleton as our owner, I feel like he's all in, and you can see the results.
By the way,
Sixers, we can save that for another.
Kelly Green Eagles uniforms this weekend. I'm a Buddy Ryan guy. I don't know, what was your formative sports team? Was it the 90s Eagles?
Yes, absolutely. Randall Cunningham was my first sports idol, really. Those teams. Also, Buddy Ryan coming from the 85 Bears was such a huge deal, and the attitude and the grit that he brought to the team, and those defenses, man, they were they were brutal. They were tough defense.
They went after a kicker. They had a bounty on the opposing kicker. Greatest team ever.
Ryan Phillippe is here. He's going to pick some NFL games for us. Ryan, because of your career and because of your celebrity, doors are going to open for you. Are you somebody who wants to meet your sports heroes? Do you try to say, hey, I love, Jalen Hurts, I only want to meet Jalen Hurts? Or do you have hey, I'd rather just sort of hang back, not?
No, I love meeting them, and so does my son. And I'm lucky to be very plugged in with the Eagles organization. They take great care of us. My son Deacon and I went to spring train. We went to training camp this summer, and we shot a video that the Eagles posted on their feed, and we're going this weekend. And my son is turning 20 the day after, on the 23rd, the day after the Sunday night game, and we're going to go and sort of celebrate his birthday, and the Eagles are taking care of us. We usually get to go down on the field, which is awesome, and then we get to go to the friends and family reception area after, and when we did that last season, he got, Kelsey signed a jersey for him right there. And you really get to be up close and meet these guys. And it's a thrill. It's still, it's for me as a kid growing up in Delaware, I never would have thought that I would have the access to my favorite NFL team that I have. And it's really special.
Do you get to hang out with the First Lady? I know also from Delaware, Dr. Jill Biden goes to a lot of Eagles games. Is there a fraternity with you and Bradley Cooper and Jill Biden?
Sometimes they'll sit us with certain other celebrities. I've talked to Miles Teller about our Eagle fandom. Recently in LA, they had a suite for the Rams game. And when I was there, I was there with Diplo and Michael Buffer and, a few Morris Chestnut and a few other Eagle fans that were in LA. And those moments are fun. Last time I went, though, I sat with Chris Long and Brent Selleck and Bo Allen, who's a good friend of mine. And so, I never know who they're going to sit us with, but that's part of the excitement. And I'm just so grateful for the way they treat me and my family. It's just awesome.
Fantastic. Ryan Phillippe here. Of course, he's here on a Friday. That's where we ask celebrities to pick NFL games. So let's get to it.
Time for Celebrity Picks.
Lifestyles of the Rich and Famous theme song for you with Ryan Phillippe. All right, 5 NFL games for you. You're going to pick them against the spread. Let's just get this one out of the way. It's been a lot of Eagles talk here. So Dolphins at the Eagles. Eagles 2.5-point favorite.
Again, like I said, I'm going to be there. We're bringing back the Kelly Green jerseys for the first time in 10 years. I think it's going to be a playoff atmosphere, high-scoring game. But I like the Eagles to cover with a Jake Elliott field goal to finish them off.
I love it. And you're calling how it's going to happen. Perfect. Let's move on. Chargers are at the Chiefs. Chiefs are a 5.5-point favorite.
This may be somewhat controversial. I do think the Chiefs win, but I don't think they cover. Their offense doesn't quite have the firepower it does, and I like Herbert to get back in the swing of things and have a big game.
Yeah, those games are always really close between those two. Steelers at the Rams. Rams a 3-point favorite.
Again, I was there in person to watch those Rams play, and I was impressed by what I saw. As much as I love Mike Tomlin, and he hasn't had a losing season, that might change this year, I like the Rams to win and cover.
Okay. How about the Lions at the Ravens? Ravens are a 3-point favorite.
This is my upset pick out of these 5. I think the Lions, the Ravens are a very frustrating offense to watch.
Yes.
I have Lamar in fantasy. I have Zay Flowers in fantasy. And the Lions, they just look good. And this might be finally time where, they've been the sexy pick the last couple of years to make the playoffs and make some noise. And I think I like the Lions to upset the Ravens.
And the last one for you, the Falcons are at the Bucks. Bucks are a 2.5-point favorite.
I feel like only the two fan bases of these teams care about this game. I do have kind of a soft spot for the Bucks just because one of my best friends loves them, and I like the Bucks to win and cover here.
Okay, very good. So we'll be putting them out on our social media. Ryan Phillippe's pick.
We got to get how many games till the Phillies knock out the Diamondbacks? What's the prediction?
Listen, man, to sweep them is unrealistic. If you make it to the championship series, there's a reason. I didn't expect to sweep. I do think Phillies in 6th.
And if they make it to the World Series this year, is it the year?
Man, the vibes feel like it. They're such a dynamic team. Their personalities, they're so fun to watch. It does feel like the mojo that the 2017 Eagles had in a lot of ways, where that cohesiveness and they all like each other. And I feel like it is the Phillies year. I feel like we're going to be, I feel like it's our year.
I need you here. I'm surrounded by Mets fans, and you know what they're like, Ryan.
I do.
So latest movie is Miranda's Victim. It's excellent. It's out now. You can watch it. Ryan, I want to start a campaign that we should no longer call the Hollywood game 6 Degrees of Kevin Bacon. We should be calling this game 6 Degrees of Ryan Phillippe. You have been in movies with and you are an incredible actor, and you've been in movies with every incredible actor in Hollywood. Do you have a Mount Rushmore or something of the favorite actors that you worked with?
I mean, I know I've been very fortunate in a lot of the projects. For me, the directors I've worked with, like Clint Eastwood and Robert Altman, and I mentioned Ridley Scott earlier. I think a lot about that. Jeff Bridges was such a big inspiration the early part of my career. And most recently in Miranda's Victim, getting to work opposite Donald Sutherland was really special. And I would also put Chris Cooper in that group. I did a movie called Breach years ago, a true story about the takedown of this FBI spy, Robert Hansen. And working opposite Chris Cooper was really, really special.
That is one of the most tense movies. I got to tell you, that's like an Eagles down by 3. That movie, I was so nervous. I know it's a movie, but Breach.
It's real. It's a true story.
Yeah, you thought he was going to get caught.
Yeah.
Great movie.
I mean, the guy I play in that movie, the true FBI agent, is still a friend of mine, which is such a cool thing, too, to play a real life person. And we see each other at the beach in Bethany in the summers. And it's kind of cool to have that relationship.
That is a Delaware pull right there. Bethany Beach. We love it. Ryan Phillippe, good luck to your Birds and the Phillies. Of course, thank you for doing this, and good luck with your picks.
Thank you, guys, and have a great morning.
Appreciate that.
Thank you.
Miranda's Victim, you can find now. It is in theaters and available for streaming.
Man, that's some good directors and some good actors.
I'm telling you, the 6 Degrees of Ryan Phillippe thing could really work. I mean, he has been in movies with everybody. He's been in a couple of movies that have these big ensemble casts, so he's connected to everybody.
I'm embarrassed, by the way. I did not know Diplo was an Eagles fan. I'm going to claim that one, too. Yeah, I mean, that is pretty cool. I think that'd be the best part about being famous is to get great tickets to your hometown team.
Oh, I mean, that's a huge perk.
Yeah, to sit there with Morris Chestnut and watch the Birds in L.A., that'd be amazing.
855-212-4CBS, 855-212-4227. So we appreciate Ryan Phillippe, his celebrity picks. We will put that out on our Twitter feed at Maggie and Pearl. Just spoiler alert, one of the picks that he had this week is also going to be one of my picks.
Got it.
Yeah, so we'll do our picks, Maggie and Perloff style, in just a moment. Don't move. It's Maggie and Perloff, CBS Sports Radio.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. 4 minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Forty-five seconds remaining. Thirty seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Stream the NFL on Westwood One for free, sponsored by AutoZone all season long. You can listen to every Westwood One broadcast of the NFL live on the NFL app by asking Alexa to open Westwood One Sports, or on the Odyssey app. Get in the zone. AutoZone, the free AutoZone Fix Finder service, can help you find a fix for free. Get in the zone. AutoZone. Restrictions apply. Big thanks to fellow Philly sports fan Ryan Philippe. He was really fun. I mean, that is a fan, by the way. Like, there is no, like, fronting or posturing there. You can tell he lives and dies with Philly sports.
Yeah, this is not a guy who's just showing up to the divisional round being like, all
Yeah,
right,
we
I'm
know
here,
that type.
go Birds. No, he's live tweeting every game. He's, like, really riding the roller coaster of Philly sports.
And it's interesting to me, his 19-year-old son, all Philly sports. Because if you grow up in L.A. and your dad's a huge Philly sports fan, curious, like, does anybody pick the Rams or the Chargers? I guess the Rams and the Chargers weren't even there.
No, I don't think so. It's always a curious thing when you're a fan of a team that's a perennial loser or that's in a rough spot. Like, do you force it on your kid?
Well, I mean, how about you? Forget, like, the geography. Well, your husband's a Bills fan, too. So
Yeah, like-
your son is going to be a Bills fan.
My kid doesn't have a prayer unless he goes against us, Like, there's
Like
always that kid in the
Cowboys
family.
fan in the neighborhood, yeah.
There's always that kid. I could see my kid being that kid.
Oh, not going with the Bills? There's a lot of pressure in your household.
Yeah, but see, I don't want to put that pressure on. Just like Ryan Phillippe didn't want to put it on his kid. It's like the Bills
It's
could
not
be cursed.
picking a
I don't know.
religion.
I don't know if they're ever gonna. He might go against the grain on that one with us too. I don't know if he's ever gonna like see a title. Like, this is weird. I always say, being a Bills fan, you're born into it. Like, no one picks this.
At least he's got a playoff team.
The result.
I thought we were bringing that back.
He's got a playoff team, at least. Believe me, this is the time to grow up being a Bills
No,
fan.
I
You got
know.
Josh Allen.
This is weird.
Different than you. You grew up with
Yeah, it was like Trent
Joe
Edwards.
Ferguson. Yeah.
It's like, hey, can we offer you a little JP Lossman? Would you like to buy a jersey?
That would be torture. I think that is, I would call child services for some of those quarterbacks. But for Josh Allen, that's easy. There's Josh Allen jerseys everywhere. I see them in New York.
Bogish, did you force your fandom on your kids?
The only thing that I truly care about is the Mets. Like, my son actually has a Josh.
Why would you do that?
Yeah. My son actually has a Josh Allen jersey. So his football is all over the place. NBA, he's all over the place.
Bandwagoner?
Yeah, but he's got to be a Mets fan, and so far so good.
Because you think it will reveal something about his character.
No, that's my number one team. So that's the one I couldn't live with him not.
Yeah.
If he doesn't like the Giants or the Rangers, I'll be fine. But I need him to be a Mets fan with me.
Okay. Missouri loves company.
Exactly.
You got some headlines for us.
The Astros jumped on the Rangers immediately in Game 4 of the ALCS, scoring 3 in their first at-bat, knocking Andrew Heaney out of the game. But Texas rallied, so Houston added a big 4th inning.
Here's the pitch. Swing and a drive. 3-pointer from way downtown. Palakaye. Si, senor. Abreu. A 3-run shot.
That's from Astros radio. Abreu's long ball followed Yordan Alvarez's tie-breaking sac fly. It was 7-3 Astros at that point. They won 10-3 to even the series at 2. Houston is now 55-30 on the road this season, and they've got Game 5 in Arlington at 4 Central today. Game 4 in the NLCS is at 5 Pacific, with the D-backs trying to get even with the Phillies. As impossible as that sounds, Philly gave Arizona a courtesy 2-1 win yesterday, choosing not to hit rookie righty Brandon Pfaadt. He went 5 2/3, allowing just 2 hits while striking out 9. It was ugly for the Saints offense through 3 quarters of Thursday Night Football. Derek Carr's unit scored just 9 points. He threw a pick 6. In separate moments, Carr yelled at receiver Chris Olave and OC Pete Carmichael.
I've been showing my emotion a little bit too much on my sleeve, I kind of got to chill out, and that's me holding myself accountable, because that's not going to help anything. And so just trying to be a calming influence in those moments, especially when it's been a couple of times it's happened, that heightened frustration. I could do a better job as a leader to calm everybody down.
I mean,
you guys aren't buying?
I am not.
Why is that?
I don't think Derek Carr can help himself there.
Oh, yeah. But was he like that as a Raider guy? I used to think he was mellow. He's from the West Coast. His family's from Fresno. And this is kind of a newer thing. Has he always been a screamer?
No, I don't think he's been a screamer, but I think that's how maddening this has been to watch the Saints in this crappy offense.
Yeah, but I think it's 90% him, honestly.
He's been bad.
Yeah, I mean,
really bad.
He came on at the end of the game, but at the beginning of the game, I'm like, play Jameis. I mean, give us Jameis. If you're going to fail every third down, we might as well have the excitement of watching Jameis win.
Throw interceptions. Well, we were just talking to Ryan Phillippe, who was here doing celebrity NFL picks for us. I feel like Taysom Hill is like a quarterback stunt double.
How so?
It's like, because he comes into the game, but like, are you sure? It's like Carr's 4, Hill is 7.
Oh, they look alike.
They kind of look like, but then all of a sudden,
they're built similarly too.
But then Taysom Hill all of a sudden is doing something that it's not Derek Carr.
Yeah.
It's like, oh my gosh.
Hill had a good game last night. 4 catches, 50 yards. He's the only guy in New Orleans who can do anything in the red zone. I honestly, I'm down with the Taysom Hill quarterback experiment. Just run. Because Derek Carr can hit anybody.
It's been tough. Yes.
The Saints did calm down, erase a 15-point hole in the fourth quarter, but then Trevor Lawrence and Christian Kirk hooked up for a 44-yard score, and then Saints tight end Foster Moreau dropped Carr's pass in the end zone in the final minute, so the Jags got their 4th win in a row, 31-24. Robo Trevor Lawrence played through that left knee injury. The tie-breaking TD throw was his only one of the night. He was also Jacksonville's leading rusher, but Travis Etienne did score twice on the ground. Connor Stallions works for Michigan football in recruiting, but he's reportedly at the center of this NCAA investigation into sign stealing. Maybe it was Stallions who was illegally watching future Wolverine opponents. Jim Harbaugh denied all knowledge of any bad behavior. If there was a sign-stealing plan, it might go back as far as the 2021 season.
Man, I mean, do you need a former Marine to be doing this for you? I know it's an interesting and funny detail that this guy was a former Marine. He can kind of be stealth, has all these skills.
But look at a picture of him.
Can you just got a regular,
He's small. He's an everyman thing. He looks exactly like he could be anybody's fan.
So you wouldn't notice him in Piscataway watching Rutgers and going, here's what they're going to do.
Yeah, if you put a former lineman on the job, like why is that 6'4", 300-pound guy taking pictures of the assistant coach? This guy fits in. I don't know what he did for the Marines, maybe recon?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. But he looks like the perfect guy to steal signs.
This could be a future like Ryan Phillippe movie.
You're right.
He's the guy who's got to get the signs for Michigan for hard on his luck, Jim Harbaugh.
I don't know if you could quite make a movie out of Ohio State calling a run play.
They can make a movie out of anything.
I mean, we could zhuzh it up from Hollywood. We could make it a little more dramatic. Like that's how the last Rose Bowl ends, and we go back and find out that Jeff Bridges as Jim Harbaugh was stealing signs, and Ryan Phillippe was the man in the stands doing it.
Guys, you guys are missing the opportunity here. It's that someone has kidnapped the coach's daughter, and the only way they can get her back is if you beat them in the big game. So Phillippe's got to get in there, and he's got to get the signs and make sure that
he's working for good.
Like the dramatic moment would be like, it's an end around. It's an end around coming. Like, what is the possible? They pick off the flea flicker? I don't know how this movie ends.
Exactly. And then you cut to some warehouse where the girl's got the duct tape on her mouth and she's tied to a chair. Yeah.
I'm still waiting for the Deflategate movie because, the scandal, somebody is a deflator.
No, see, that's there's going to be too many jokes, about deflated balls.
Yeah,
this has got to be an SNL production. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I'm sorry, Michigan stealing signs is not the most serious transgression. Even if a Marine's in it, it's still kind of silly.
So, apparently when you go to filmmaking school, there's an assignment that's pretty common, which is you have to recut a movie trailer to change it. It's you have to recut a romance movie, The Notebook, and make it into a horror film.
Yeah, you see that on social media sometimes too.
Or you have to take a horror film and turn it into a comedy. I mean, that's what you could do here, right? It's a silly kind of idea, and you make it into something.
Well, they made Moneyball into a movie, which was basically a team-building philosophy. That was not much action there.
It's nominated for an Oscar.
Yeah, I mean, so you don't need a lot,
right? So you're coming back on our side here.
There you go. I've converted you.
No, I think Deflategate would make a great movie. Roger Goodell is the bad guy. This would be
Brady's the bad guy.
Yeah.
Who's the bad guy?
Brady.
Oh,
breaking cell phones. Dodging questions.
Brady is the victim in this story, no?
No, he's the perpetrator.
No, we saw the courtroom sketch when Brady's in there. He looks like a demon. We all remember that. It's the only time Brady's ever looked bad, that handsome bastard. Anyway.
Former Blazers head coach Terry Stotts abruptly stepped down as a Bucks assistant yesterday. Head coach Adrian Griffin would not say why. One report said the two had a brief, somewhat contentious exchange during shoot-around on Tuesday, so maybe they weren't getting along. This was Stotts' first job since losing that Portland gig 2 years ago. Preseason action last night, Durant scored 21, LeBron had 19 in the Suns' 123-100 win over the Lakers. Nikola Jokic, 25 points, 14 boards, 8 assists in the Nuggets' 103-90 decision over the Clippers. And on ice, Ladies, don't get any ideas.
Turnover, Dubois shoots and scores! A rim around by the Wild, tipped into the middle of the ice. Dubois with another goal.
Pierre-Luc Dubois bouncing back from scoring in just 12 seconds to score again. His 2 goals coming in the final minute of the first period. His Kings eventually beat the Wild 7-3. Perloff, back to you.
I'm telling you, this sexually suggestive hockey highlights is going to be the best thing we ever created.
The most hockey probably ever in the show and worth it. So KD and LeBron played each other last night, right? It's
Correct.
been 5 years. Like, how is that? I don't understand. Isn't KD been playing? How come they haven't played in 5 years? 2018, they meet next week. It'll be the first time since 18 they've played against each other in a real game.
Durant's been in the Eastern Conference.
Yeah,
and
but
LeBron's had 2 significant injuries, right, the last 2 years? And KD was...
It's just,
he's in and out of the lineup all the time.
It's just funny to me. People were noting it's very odd how they keep missing each other. Even in the year 2019, didn't KD play the whole season until the end?
When was the Achilles?
It was in the playoffs. It was in the first round of the playoffs, I thought. Anyway, it's just odd. Then, I think that they're working on their Olympic plans. KD and LeBron are clearly at the point of their career where they're better friends than rivals.
I mean, this is okay. That's fine, but this is almost like Tyreek Hill wants to play flag football in the Olympics because he wants a gold medal. Does LeBron and KD, do they need more gold medals?
Nope.
Can't you let Donovan Mitchell win one or something like that?
That's a great point. I don't know what they're doing here, but LeBron kind of likes the camera.
You think? Listen, he's too busy handicapping week 8 of the NFL.
Yeah, this is going to cut into his
all.
preseason coverage. He's going to be breaking down the Bucs training camp. How is he going to possibly be in the Olympics?
I know. I think he only wants to be eventually own a basketball team in Las Vegas so he can start a sports book or something.
No, I think he'd be a better NFL owner. He'd be more fun as an NFL owner. He has more passion for the sport.
What do you think LeBron James is going to be, rubbing elbows with John Mara? It's such a waste of him as an owner.
No, are you kidding me? LeBron already rubs elbows with those guys. Isn't he partners with John Henry?
It's better if we get LeBron as an NFL analyst, not as an owner. Once you're an owner, you got to keep tight. You can't be giving out your picks and stuff.
Yeah. No, if you become an NFL owner, all of a sudden you become way more conservative and weird and
tweeting like magic.
Yeah. But no, I think he would fit in perfectly. I think he'd be good as an NFL owner.
Hey, speaking of which, did you see that Tom Brady, his ownership stake in the Raiders is on hold?
Yeah.
And now if Jim Irsay is outfoxing you in a math equation, I feel like you really have to check yourself. I feel like Jim Irsay.
Yeah, but Irsay's argument that Mark Davis made a bad deal, that's easy to buy.
So here's what Irsay said. So there was going to be, I think it was a 10% stake, right? Or something like that. And he goes, we're trying to work through it. This is Irsay at the owners meeting. The number just has to be reasonable for the purchase for Tom. If reasonable value says that 10% should be $525 million, you can't pay $175 million. Mark Davis is trying to give Brady a discount.
Yeah.
He's the last person on earth who needs a discount.
And I don't understand is you can't give a discount on a percentage. If the team is valued as this, 10% is a thing, is like a scientific number. You can't go, I'm going to shave some of that off because it doesn't work like that.
Does anyone watch Shark Tank? Jeez, simple.
By the
Anyway,
way,
Brady not being an owner still opens the door for him to come back in a late season injury.
I would, if I was Mark Davis, I'd bring in Tom Brady at a discount, though. You want that dude. You're basically kind of paying him to be an ambassador, right? That's the whole point.
Okay, then put him on the payroll then and just pay him to be an ambassador. You can't, to Bogus's point, you can't fudge a percentage.
Yeah, but when you hire somebody, you can give them stock options at a certain level, be like you get whatever. I think it's an odd form of compensation.
Stock options, like he's applying for a job at Amazon.
Well, the point is he's getting ownership in the team, which is illegal if you're playing. It's become a big deal. I think I understand what Mark Davis was doing. That being said, if I'm
we're going to lower the value of the Raiders just to give Brady a deal.
The other thing too, don't you want Tom Brady as an NFL owner? I feel like that would help the league. He's then an ambassador for the owners.
Right. So give him the percentage of the Raiders that he can afford.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter whether he has 2% or 12% or just if he can give me even less than 1% money of value, then just take that.
It's like Jay-Z with the Nets. Jay-Z,
he had like an eighth of a percentage.
He had nothing, but he sat there courtside at everybody with Beyonce, and they all associated him with the Nets.
Right. It's a symbolic owner, right?
Yes. Isn't that what Brady? Isn't that the definition?
Yeah, I guess 10% is a lot. But it's not like, it's not like Tom. You're right. Tom doesn't need the money, but Mark Davis doesn't need the money. And maybe he does need the money.
He might. What isn't that their money? That's what they do. I don't think there's another business, right?
Yeah, right. So the Davises, like the Davis family, they made their money off of football. It's
Right.
not like the Pagulas made their money in fracking and
Right.
also own a football team.
There was a picture of Mark Davis at the nickel slots the other day at the McCarran Airport. I think he might need the money. You're right.
A couple slots before you hit your commercial flight to he's probably coming to New York to watch the Aces.
Oh, yeah, that must
He
be what he's
definitely
doing.
was.
Middle seat.
But he doesn't fly commercial.
Maybe. Row 26E.
Yeah, if he needs money, maybe he is these days.
If you're flying private, why are you at McCarran Airport? There's got to be a private airport in Vegas, no?
I have no idea. I can't. Is that real? We got to look into this. NFL owners flying commercial? Probably.
855-212-4CBS, 855-212-4227. Thank you, Andrew Bogish. Coming up, Perloff and I make our NFL picks Maggie and Perloff style. We'll do that next. Don't move. Maggie and Perloff, CBS Sports Radio.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. 45 seconds remaining. Thirty seconds remaining. 15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Welcome back. Maggie Gray, Andrew Perloff. It is Maggie and Perloff on CBS Sports Radio. Time to get to our NFL picks for week number 7. How we do picks around here is we do one pick against the spread, one over-under, one player prop. Try to hit every facet.
And apparently there is no flexibility if the line moves. We're now in cement where the line is right now. Because only 3 overs hit last week. One of them was my over, but I don't get credit because the line went down a point. Yes. Cleveland, San Francisco.
We've been doing it like that all season. You are just the last one to know.
We've never once discussed it.
It has. Okay. The records, here we go. I am 7-8. It's been a very tough season for me. Perloff is 9-6.
There you go.
Doing very well. Let's get to it.
Maggie and Perloff's NFL picks.
Why'd you go first this time? Mix it up, Maggie.
Okay, sure. Happy to go first. I'm going to agree on my against the spread pick with our celebrity picker, Ryan Phillippe, who joined us earlier in the show. His upset is also going to be my upset. And if I'm in for a penny, I'm in for a pound with the Detroit Lions. Give me the Lions plus the 3 in Baltimore. Maybe I'm just riding a little too high here on these Lions. They could come back to earth, but I agree with Ryan's analysis, which is watching the Ravens offense is so painful right now. Like they can move the ball. Lamar's actually like throwing the ball well. It's just they have trouble, like a lot of teams, in the red zone. So give me the Lions. I think the Lions hype is going to be off the charts after this game because the Ravens are,
good team, winning record, yeah.
A good team. They're a good team at home. But I'm going to take the Lions plus the 3.
Yeah, that would really impress me if the Lions won this game on the road. A little shorthanded. David Montgomery hurt. But I totally get it. Okay. My pick is, there's less reasoning behind it. Bucks minus 2.5 hosting the Atlanta Falcons. This is definitely more referendum on where I see the Atlanta Falcons right now. But I think I could just basically pick every home team in every NFC South game. Atlanta plays the same game every week. It's going to be an 18 in the final score. It's going to be low scoring. I just think these teams are all so evenly matched in this terrible division that if you could get a home team under 3, why not? I'm going to just ride the Bucks, who I'm not a huge fan of, but I feel like at a close game, they get the win at home.
You're breaking one of the 10 commandments of the show.
Don't bet either way on the Falcons?
Yep.
I thought it was don't bet on the Falcons. You're saying any game they're involved in?
Just don't include them in any kind of bet. Okay, next one for me. I'm going to go to the Browns and the Colts for my total. I don't know if Deshaun Watson's going to be playing. He didn't practice. I don't believe he was throwing a little bit on Thursday, but I don't think he was a full participant at practice. He didn't practice at all on Wednesday. And even if he does play, apparently he's dealing with a pretty significant shoulder injury. So Browns and Colts, give me the under 40.5. It's a small number, but I mean, I've watched the Colts now. Gardner Minshew, clearly a different quarterback when he's starting the game as opposed to when he gets called in relief. And the Browns defense is so good. That's going to travel well. I just don't see it. If P.J. Walker starts, I definitely don't see it. And if Deshaun starts, I think he's going to be super limited.
Yeah.
So,
and even when Deshaun is not limited, that offense has not been explosive. That's a great one. I wish I could have jumped on that one because the Browns' defense is amazing. Okay, my first instinct, I'm going to tell you right now, is to go under because last week was all unders. And the Raiders-Bears is as bad a matchup as you get, but I'm going to avoid that because I think the NFL is going to change their officiating, stop calling illegal man downfield, and you're going to see nothing but overs this week. And I'm going to one that you're going to probably, I should have asked you first, but I didn't want to because you know this team better than anyone. The Bills-Patriots over is at 40.
Yeah,
I feel like Josh Allen is going to get the Patriots down, make this personal, and ride up the score a little bit. And Mac Jones has to have at least one touchdown here. It's in New England. I'm going over 40 Bills-Patriots.
Okay, quickly to my player prop. I'm going Justin Herbert over 16.5 rushing yards. He needs to have a big game. And because he's got the injured thumb, I think that he's taking off with the ball a little bit more. Can't do quarterback sneaks and stuff like that because of the broken thumb on the non-throwing hand. So give me Herbert over 16.5 rushing yards. Who do you have?
Okay, I'm going with the squeaky wheel gets the grease. Devontae Adams, 68.5 yards. Total receiving, go the over.
Those are Maggie and Perloff's Week 7 NFL picks. Let's get to our shot of the day.
He shoots! He scores!
And the shot of the day is brought to you by Casamigos Tequila. Casamigos is brought to you by those who drink it. And it is a Casamigos Friday around here, which also is a Casamigos Saturday at my house and also a Casamigos Sunday. Today's snapshot of the show comes from earlier, our celebrity guest picker, Ryan Philippe, was explaining to us just how cool it is to watch Eagles games with other celebrities.
Sometimes they'll sit us with certain other celebrities. You know, I've talked to Miles Teller about our Eagle fandom. Recently in LA, they had a suite for the Rams game. And when I was there, I was there with Diplo and Michael Buffer and, a few Morris Chestnut and a few other Eagle fans that were in LA. And those moments are fun. Last time I went, though, I sat with Chris Long and Brent Selleck and Bo Allen, who's a good friend of mine. And so, I never know who they're going to sit us with, but that's part of the excitement. And I'm just so grateful for the way they treat me and my family. It's just awesome.
Okay, who did he name check there? Michael
Teller, Buffer. Okay.
Diplo, Miles Chestnut, Michael Buffer. Obviously, what do you say?
It was Morris Chestnut, Miles Teller.
Yeah, Chris Long, Brent Selleck.
But Chris Long, I think those are not celebrity Eagles fans. That was different.
Right. Those are players, obviously.
Yeah.
No, but I'm just saying, my question is, if you could have picked anyone off the list that he just name checked there, who would you want to sit next to at a football game? Between Miles Teller, Diplo, Morris Chestnut, Michael Buffer.
Michael Buffer would be interesting. He'd be like, "You're going for the nachos," or like he'd be announcing the whole thing.
Don't say, by the way.
Yeah. I did not know that Michael Buffer was from Philadelphia. I learned a lot, and Diplo too. This is great. I would go Morris Chestnut because I love some of his movies, and I think that'd just be cool. And he doesn't get he's not in a lot of movies anymore, but that would be super fun.
Yeah, I think I'd probably go Miles Teller in this one. Just because I want some Aaron Rodgers stories. Weren't they very good friends and they were on vacation and stuff together?
Yeah, that'd be good. Miles Teller, he's a legit fan. He's a big Phillies fan. I met him once at a movie premiere, and all he talks about is the Phillies. That'd be a good one. But Miles Teller...
Ryan would probably be pretty high on the list.
I feel like Miles Teller would be tough to watch an Eagles game with.
Why?
I don't know, because he's kind of a huge star now after Top Gun. I can't see him being just like a lot of fun in the booth. I'll bet he has like security guards around.
Oh, you think he'd be self-conscious, like
self-aware?
Yeah,
I think he's big. He's big. I mean, Bradley Cooper is my dream. I really want to watch a game with him. I mean, we get confused a lot on the streets.
I'm sure. Yeah, I know. It's so funny. If one more person comes up and is like, "You doing a show with Bradley Cooper?" I'm like, no, everyone makes that mistake. Yeah. It's Perloff.
I'm closer to Michael Buffer, actually.
Excellent tan on Michael Buffer. World class. Thank you to Carlos Ortiz. Thank you to Pete Pilati. Thank you to Andrew Bogish, to Andrew Kaplan, to the Weedos and the Coffee Drinkers in the chat, to Ryan Philippe, who joined us, the award-winning actor. Thank you to our callers as well. Have a great weekend, everyone. See you Monday.
You're in